Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and thanks for stopping by. Welcome to RGV Aerial Photography's deep dive into images he captured this week around the shipyard and launch site in Boca Chica, Texas. Our dedicated team will guide you through with the latest updates and theories at Starbase, Texas. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for future streams.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Starbase Weekly. This is episode 29, and my name is Mauricio. I'll pass this along to Grandpa Joe.
Hey guys, it's Grandpa Joe, and thanks for having me back, Mauricio. Sorry I missed everybody last week. Had a fun wedding out in Chicago. Almost got to see Zach. Maybe next time. But boy, we are just going full send on this one. And with that, I'll hand it over to Zach.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Zach Golden, and welcome to this week's RGV Starbase Weekly live stream. And as Grandpa Joe said, I'm really excited for this week's episode. It's been about 3 weeks since we've done a normal show. I mean, we've done shows pretty much, well, every week for the last, what are we on? 20, 29?
27, 29, somewhere in there.
29,
Yeah,
29 weeks straight almost.
wow.
So, but, you know, the last few times we were kind of getting aerial photos mid-show because Mauricio was, you know, had just gotten done doing the flyover right before the show. So, and then last week we didn't have aerial images at all. So I think it's been about 2 weeks since we've had aerial images. So, you know, I'm always really excited when we can finally get back to showing you guys those. So I'm really glad that we're able to do that today. And we actually do have another guest with us today, but he had to step away for a second, so I'll introduce him when he comes back. But in the meantime, let's hop into it, shall we?
Please do.
I feel like we're supposed to start with the obligatory picture of Sunny. So let's see what we got.
Obligatory, wanted, and deserved.
That way, but I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So this is the picture candidate of the week.
Oh,
We got
look at
a
Sunny
new scarf
growing
here.
up.
Mauricio, is this a new scarf for Sunny?
Oh, yeah. Provided by the donations by the Starbase community.
Hey, you guys bought that for Sunny. Look at you go.
And this guy looks better than I do going outside. That's really awesome. It's nice seeing him get bigger every single week, and it's really cool using this as well, with the way that the rocket garden has been changing, it's really cool having the aerials showing um I guess the time lapse of the changing ships and boosters that have been in the rocket garden. But it's actually even cooler seeing that time lapse progress while also having pictures of Sunny to go along with it. So
It's like having a clock going in the background of a video. You can tell it's real.
for sure.
And
Well,
Sonny just loves hanging out with you. It's got to be the highlight of his week.
Yeah, he's it's kind of hard. It's gonna be hard to get him used to the heat. That's the only thing that he doesn't like. So I'm probably gonna get him one of those. Somebody mentioned, I think it was Sport that mentioned that there's some vests that they sell that are you put them on, and I guess they're wet or they're for the cooling them down. That's probably something I'm gonna get him next to manage the heat out at Starbase because it's just getting insanely hot out there
Yeah,
this time of
and
year.
the direct sunlight with no shade is a big one too.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dive in. So we got booster 20, and what is that? Sorry, ship 20, and then ship 21, 22, and 15, and then booster 4 just recently added to the rocket garden.
yeah, I'm really glad that one happened. I've been hoping for Booster 5 to get scrapped for a long time. I think some people right now are hoping for Booster 4 to get scrapped, but you guys need to chill out. Um, we got to keep this rocket garden looking good for the visitors. You don't want to go down to plan like a 2-month trip in advance down to Starbase, then get there and they're all gone because they scrapped every single one of them in less than 2 months. So yeah, I'm hoping Booster 4 stays there right where it's at.
So I hope I don't get a lot of hate of this, but I'm not sentimental unless it's hoppy. But any of these things that haven't flown, I'm kind of like, you know what? They were test articles. It's just a lamp. Don't be sentimental about it. Do what you got to do to make space. Now if they got space laying around, sure, leave them be. But if they need that booster stand or something, man, scrap away.
Hey, I'm with you there. So before we get into this week's show, I want you guys to all do me a favor and hit that like button if you haven't already. That way it lets YouTube know that we're live, even though they should already know. But it definitely helps us out. So if you guys are able to do that for us, we'd greatly appreciate it. And 260 of you in here already. So that is really awesome having you guys in here this early every single week. And again, thank you guys for joining us. So with that, I guess we should go ahead and get into it. Um, this week, or I guess during the last flyover, um, we I don't think we had any images of the Macy's lot, so Mauricio was able to get some uh, this week, and it actually looks like it was a really, really clear day. Um, I think Mauricio, you did this flight really late in the day, correct? About
Yeah,
4 p.m.
yeah, that is correct. That is one of the latest flyovers we've done in a long time, and it's not really ideal because of the shadows, the harsh shadows on the build side and the launch side, but made it work. Aside from somebody in the Mexican side burning some sugarcane, um, thankfully it didn't cross over to the Starbase area, but worked out pretty good. It was a good day to fly. Our next flyover is they already fixed the aircraft at our usual flight school, so we're going to be flying out of there, and hopefully we'll have some new aerial images for next week for Friday.
Good.
Yeah, and just in case you guys are new to the show, we are currently trying to get Mauricio a new camera so that we can not only increase the quality of the images that we're able to give you guys every week, but we also have been having issues with his camera, just kind of really unexplained problems that are still persisting. But luckily, it hasn't stopped us from actually being able to do the flyovers. So if you guys have donated to Mauricio so far towards the new camera fund, thank you guys so much. And for those of you who may want to contribute, you can do so by either becoming a Patreon member, or you can donate directly in the chat via the super chat option, or through PayPal. So I believe one of the mods can throw the PayPal link into the chat if you guys would like to contribute to the new camera fund. So yeah, once again, thank you everybody who's already helped out so far. You guys are amazing. And I personally can't wait to see that new the quality that we're going to get with that 61 megapixel camera.
Yep. And Mauricio, I heard Elon gave you kind of a sideways shout out. He said, there are a lot of photographers around, with such great cameras, they can read the wiring diagrams. I'm assuming he was talking about you personally.
Yes.
He was probably talking about so many photographers, talented photographers out there as well.
Mhm.
Really quick here, just we got some donations here from Sharpie, just $10, and thank you, I appreciate that. And we got Pete. He's a member for 4 months. He says thanks for everything you do, RGV aerial photography, and thank you everybody. I already posted the PayPal link for that camera. Unfortunately, the issues that we've been having with the camera is it's only been at 10,000 feet, 10,500 feet. If anybody knows what the issue might be, basically the camera shuts off. Not sure if it's with the cold weather or I guess I would have to post it on Twitter to get you all more information on exactly what's going on with the camera. But it's definitely a hassle and stressful situation, especially up there where we can't really troubleshoot in that difficult, cramped up environment in the airplane. But I appreciate you, and moving on, taking it back to Zach here.
Yeah, and for those of you who are wondering what Grandpa Joe's talking about, he's actually referring to uh, the Everyday Astronaut video, which released earlier today when Elon was actually talking about something that he's mentioned before, which is just, photographers having super high quality cameras and being able to take pictures of all the labels and stuff. And, as I was watching that part, I was literally thinking about the new camera fund. And the thought that was on my mind is he doesn't even know yet. We're going to up the quality on him again. Hopefully that doesn't result
Amen.
in an upping of the TFR. So we're sorry, Elon. Don't do that.
Yeah, he should thank us. Now his hands aren't tied. He can talk about half the things he wants to now.
And the good thing about having people who are, flying over, taking images like this, and people like me who are keeping a mental inventory of all of their equipment, if they ever lose something, they could always just reach out to us and we'll let them know where it's at. So, yeah, with that, SpaceX, if you guys would like to join the RGV Patreon, you can find the link in the description of the video, and we would love to have you as members. All right, let's
Yep.
continue on, guys. Let's hop into this. So get to start at the Macy's lot this week. Macy's, whatever you guys want to call it. And again, it's such a clear day, so it's really nice to be able to get these images without any clouds. Man, what do you notice off the bat, Grandpa Joe?
Well, hell, it looks clean. I see a lot of road going in there. I'm trying to remember which part of it was there. Yeah, no, looks good. Looks organized. What are you seeing?
Let's see. We actually have our guest who just rejoined us. His name is Nate. I'll let himself introduce us. Thank you for rejoining us, Nate. How are you doing?
Everybody. I am Nathan Ziegler. Good to be here with everybody today.
Hey, Nate, welcome to the stream, man. Glad to have you, sir.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, so quiz time, Nate. Do you notice anything new over at Macy's?
They're doing a lot of groundwork out there. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like the gun range is getting a makeover. So we have lots of groundwork going in over here. And for those of you who don't know, this site is still a gun range, and there's a short distance range right here. I don't know what you want to call it. There's also one that's about double the length. I believe this is like 50 meters right here, and then this one is 100 meters.
Yeah,
possibly.
pistols, rifles.
Yeah, pistols, rifles. So it looks like I don't know, just the way that I see these berms being set up, we may be getting another addition to the gun range.
Do you think that berm looks like kind of a test stand, maybe? Gas. You could have LNG there. Who knows?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that it would be possible for SpaceX to actually put something here other than an extension of the gun range. Um, the one thing I'm noticing is that there's not really a way to get large equipment into here other than straight through the entrance of the gun range, which I don't know. I just don't see. I don't think they're actually going to be using this for SpaceX related stuff. I think this
Well, hey Zach, if you notice
yeah.
the entrance for the gun range, they're actually widening it out. If you zoom in on that,
Oh
so
snap!
so it's actually
Hey.
going to be double the size.
Well, look at that.
And considering SpaceX's lease of it, I think they are allowing the gun range to operate at their discretion. But they may have to close it down. They may have to move it, or they may just have to keep it limited to that 50 and 100-meter range.
Interesting. This is very interesting. I don't know how I didn't even notice this.
All right. Good eye on Mauricio.
Right? Why don't you speak up more?
Well, actually, where credit is due, we're talking about it on the when I first released the images for Patreons. Me and Thomas were talking about that, so we kind of just. So Thomas was also, and along with the other Patreons that have a good eye on this kind of stuff. So, another thing about the Masseys Gun Range, I had seen a post on Facebook that Masseys was basically confirming that they were expanding their gun range or renovating or something of that sort. So that could also have something to do with the new groundwork that's going on there.
That horseshoe shape may also be like a tactical range in between the two different, the short range to the left, the long range to the right, and then in the center and the horseshoe. The reason you build the berm is they could put a tactical range in there.
And that'll be fun to visit there once it's completed. Nate sounds like he knows what he's doing, so he can be my guide when we go.
I got it.
um, it is interesting that they're widening it. I have driven on this before. I feel like it's wide enough for two cars to pass by already. So it is interesting that they would double that size. I mean, obviously they may want to actually like pave it or something like that, which would make sense. But yeah, I mean, the only reason I can think of to really increase the size of this is if you need to be able to have large equipment make this corner right here. So that'll be interesting, seeing if I mean, obviously, you know, they may have more business once the renovations to the gun range are complete. However, um, I don't think that's the only cause that for them to expand this out right here. And luckily, thanks to Max Q, who was able to get us this image in the background. Let me go ahead and swap over to that.
Nice. Good
Um,
job, Max.
we got a post from Macy's Gun Shop and Range, which you can't see the title at the top because my screen's cropped. But concrete is set, parking area is set. Up next, canopies. Okay, so we're gonna have some canopies installed in there, and um, you can kind of see this concrete sidewalk right here. So let's see if we can tell where exactly this is from the aerial view. Um, okay, I guess that's pretty easy to see right there. Uh, it looks like they're standing right along this right here. So yeah, it looks like, and you can actually almost even see it. The posts in the ground. I don't know. Some of them look kind of crooked, but maybe this is where the canopies that they're speaking of will go. Which means they'll probably also have canopies over here. Um, so with no
See
canopies,
the
it looks kind of,
berm. Yeah, I see the berm for the short range to the left there. So, yeah, no, that's very standard at a gun range. As the backstop, you have a dirt berm, so it absorbs the kinetic impact. And you can see possibly a 100-meter range berm forming in the back of that. Yep, right there.
yeah, that's pretty awesome. I bet one year on this side over here, they maybe make another one that goes even further back.
Yep. All right. Well, as much fun as guns are, rockets.
Hey, we're just pointing out all the changes out here. We got 3 hours today, so thank you guys for joining us, and we do have a lot to cover actually. So thank you, Grandpa Joe, for moving us along. We actually don't really see too much new things out here. Let me get to another image. Um, this is still mainly being used for storage. We have some um, pedestal cranes Looks like these could be cranes as well too. Whole bunch of cryo tubes and random metal um, paneling. But we also have uh, these canopy pieces for the orbital launch mount. So this is pretty interesting. Mauricio actually um, posted these earlier in the week on Twitter. Um, it's kind of odd that these are here, and we've talked about this in the past as well too. But it's really odd that these are here because of the fact that these belong on the top side of the launch mount, not the bottom side. So while we initially did get our hopes up, thinking, okay, now they're going to put them on the bottom and then fully enclose it, it really just doesn't make sense as far as how the launch mount is built. These are definitely for the top. So it is weird to me because I don't really see them ever having a need to replace them unless the booster is those outer 20 engines are like ablating away the top of the surface every time they launch. Um, I I just don't think that's going to be happening. So it's kind of weird that these are here. What do you guys think would be the reason for that? Like
Well,
maybe just temporary storage for a different launch mount?
maybe help me better understand where exactly you think these are going. So,
Sorry,
on
that's a good point. We should let me grab a ground image for you guys so you can see
yeah.
where these actually go. Just give me 1 second while I
By the
Well,
way,
while you
Zach,
do that,
I'm always proud to be your lowest common denominator here. Go ahead, Mauricio.
yeah, while he does that, there was a question by Sam Walton. It says, "I would pay $20 for an aerial photo that indicates Sanchez, Masseys, Boca Chica, etc., but I haven't found it. This would help perspective when you talk about detailed locations." And I guess I can answer that real quick here. I haven't gotten a shot of Masseys and Starbase just because of the big radius that would require me to go. I would probably have to go more towards the Brownsville area, but Masseys is actually 2 miles from. Wait, let me see. It looks like it's about 4 miles from the build site, Masseys, and it's 4.71 miles from the build site and 6.8 miles from the launch site. And
You
so
know
yeah,
what,
that's
Mauricio? I'm gonna mock up an image for you right now. So hang tight, and I'll get it for you in about 5 minutes.
and right here, real quick, while you do that as well, it's actually there's been a PayPal donation by Don Garner, $10 donation for the camera fund. And then Jim Cavett, member for 7 months, RGV early access, and he says he's missing Mrs. Stark this week. Indian Star, unfortunately, Indian Star couldn't make it this week, but she will be back next week. Um, so we're looking forward to that. And also we have, what else do we have here? I think that's about it. Oh, actually, one last question here, but I think it's actually gonna. We can read that one later on. It actually has to do with the FCC document that was released. So pretty excited to talk about that later on during the stream.
Yep,
Oh yes,
we have that planned right about 2 o'clock. We were gonna dive deep into that, so buckle up.
and while we before we get into that later, maybe we should start off with a little poll if Mauricio is able to make one in the chat. Um, do you guys think and by you guys I mean everybody in the audience? Do you all think that what do you think the chances are of SpaceX attempting to catch the booster, and not just the booster 7 on its first orbital launch attempt? So I guess it's a yes or no question. Do you think that SpaceX would actually try and attempt this on the first launch? So if Mauricio could throw that in the chat for us, we're gonna check in on that throughout the show and just see what what the audience is feeling, and then we're gonna address that actual issue a little bit later once we reach the launch site. But before I get too distracted, because I have a tendency to do this, these covers right here that we're talking about are the canopies that go on the launch mount, and you can see those right here. Um, Basically, they're little wedge pieces that go all along the edge of the launch mount. I believe there's 16 of them, maybe either 16 or 18 of them. Um, but yeah, it's kind of weird that they are over here in the Macy's lot because um, I mean we don't really have a use for them. So it is a possibility that these are just ready early and then they didn't have a place to store them. But if they're destined for the launch mount down in Florida, you would think they would just take them there and then store it on site because the Roberts Road facility is pretty large, so they could just store it there like they are everything else. So it's really weird that they're doing this. Secretly, I'm hoping that soon SpaceX will prioritize the Army Corps of Engineers requirements for them to start building a second launch site. So, pretty much every episode from here on out, I'm going to point out every single sign of a possible second launch site at Starbase. So just be ready for that. It's going to be lots of speculation, and some of it's probably going to be wrong, but I don't really care because I want to see a second launch site here. So we're going to be on the lookout for those signs, and you guys can be the judge on whether or not they are legit ones. So with that, I think we're pretty much good over here on the Macy's site. Unless you guys notice anything else. Nate, did you have anything that you wanted to mention over here?
Nope, you said what I was going to say about the pieces about a possible second launch site. So, yep.
Well, I apologize if I stole your thunder there.
No, you did not. Not at all.
Well, with that, I guess we should move over to the Sanchez site. What used to be my favorite location, but things are still going well over here. For those of you who don't know, Sanchez site is the old gas well site, which is now turned into an energy production facility, as well as n- uh, an air separation plant for liquid nitrogen and liquid oxygen and argon production. Um, so yeah, we hold on, let me grab another image. Haven't really seen too much progress over in this area. It's pretty much just been random ring sections laying around here for a while. But we obviously, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, have had a change up at the Rocket Garden. So now we have Booster 4 sitting over here, which is
Still winking at everybody.
yeah, still got that one grid fin tilted to the side. Let's actually let me see if I could throw in a good ground image of this as well too, because I'm sure Mauricio has a great one. But yeah, like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm always excited to see the evolution of the Rocket Garden because um, you know it's just a sign of progress, and it's actually amazing to me how quickly they started scrapping everything after the wide bay. You know what? I'm going to start calling it high bay 2 because it just makes more sense to me after high bay 2 is completed. So yeah, this is our current situation at the Rocket Garden, which looks really awesome. I'm glad we got flaps out on one, flaps retracted on the other, and turned around this way. This is actually really cool the way they have this set up. Um, the only thing I would change is the booster being closer to the highway so you could see all those engines, but or behind it. So there is another pad that we have, um, which is right behind. Um, you can just barely see it back there. Ship 20. Let me see if I can get a better angle of that. Well, I don't know if there's enough space, but it would be nice if they could just build a larger pad right here and then move booster 4 behind these. That would look like a pretty awesome album cover, I think. But I highly doubt that's going to happen anytime soon or at all. um, so moving on, we haven't really seen many changes over in this area. This is basically the um, energy production facility where they have 5 um, natural gas generators, which are producing energy for um, the production site. And soon we should have power coming from the city of Brownsville. I forget what that project is called, but yeah, for now, this is where most of their power comes from, along with the um, solar panels that are all over the site. Man, this area really hasn't changed a whole lot, has it? Um,
No, I haven't seen much change, and it feels like forever. But the rocket garden's changed, but yeah, we haven't seen anything for the LNG change much recently either.
Yeah, both of these two areas, we actually have, hold on, let me grab another image of it. Get one from the other side. And that's not actually showing the whole thing. This is probably gonna be a better one. So yeah, I mean, we've had this area that's been prepared. It's been looking like this for quite a while. Still not 100% sure what its purpose is. However, the both the injection well and the gas well are on the same plot. So yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen any progress over there. I mean, they have started in what looks like a new road base for possibly a extended concrete. I think it's actually this is on top of the concrete pad, which is really weird. Um, Usually you do that if you're gonna bring in like a crane or something and sit it on top, or you could just put cribbing down. But yeah, this is kind of odd the way that they have this over here. Uh, and I think we had a question that's relevant to what we were just mentioning over here. Do we think the two pre-pad large white tanks are for locks? Um, that is a great question. So these have been here for a very, very long time. Um, the initially I kind of thought that they were going to expand their production um, over here and add in these two additional tanks because right now I believe that two of these are liquid nitrogen and only one of them is liquid oxygen. So, um, if they added these two over there and made these three nitrogen and the other two liquid oxygen, that would like drastically step up their capacity. But we haven't really seen anything happen with that so far. So yeah, we're kind of just waiting around for this project to start. And it's been about, I don't know, I want to say I feel like these got here way back in January. Um, I'd have to go back and look again. But yeah, these have been here for quite a long time. Let's see, we had this map right here. Uh, Grandpa Joe, did you want me to pull this one up?
Yeah, please. Some quick little photoshopping of a map there. And yeah, so for the guy who asked, ask and you shall receive. There's Macy's. And there's the Sanchez site, the build site, and the launch site.
Um, Now that we're at this picture, Sam Walton had actually sent a $20 donation, and it said towards an aerial that shows all the locations you discussed marked out. Well, thank you, Sam Walton. We'll get it on the next one. What I'll do is I can actually go off to the launch site and get a wide view of that area, and we can pin mark every single one of these locations: the launch, build, and Masseys there in the background. And also, let me see here. We also have Meerkat. Wait, my bad. William Dason sent $10 US for Sunny AC and for the new camera. And then we also have Paul Angel Animal Rescue that sent $10 US for the new camera as well. Just wanted to get those in. And thanks. Thank you all very much. Going back to Zach here.
All right. Um, so yeah, hopefully I answered that question about those tanks. Um, so for those of you there, let me see, where do we want to start here?
But before we get away from those things, I just want to say I got super excited about the LNG purification, and I was researching the heck out of some cryogenic stuff, and yeah, I was kind of sad to hear. I think it might have been Elon or somebody at SpaceX said that they were moving away from pure methane and more towards commercial grade LNG. So, liquid natural gas as a product has some level of impurities in it that are known. Pure methane is, I guess, a more efficient way of firing off your engines, but LNG is pretty close. and I forget the exact ratios, but it's like 90% methane and 10% like nitrogen, argon, and other impurities. A little bit of sulfur somewhere in there sometimes.
Yeah, it's sorry, I'm just like looking around trying to figure out where we want to start. Uh, I guess I'll go right to left. So first of all, we have um, I think these have been here for a while. Actually, these are two Starship transport stands, which uh, I can't really tell if they've been working on them recently. I'd have to actually go back and compare some older images. But we now have booster transport stand number 6 under construction, which is very interesting in my opinion because it's not necessarily needed right now. Now that Booster 5 has been, oh, actually, I take that back. So Booster 5 has been scrapped, but it's still sitting on top of its transport stand. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and search for a ground image here in the background. But
Yeah,
yeah, Booster 5 is still sitting on top of its transport stand, so I guess they can't really uh, use that for Booster 8 or 9, Booster 9.
hmm
Um, so
yeah.
yeah, I
Eight's
guess
got
there
its
is a need
stand
for it.
already. Nine's coming along, and we've spotted the first part for booster number 10. They are trucking.
Yeah. Oh, here we
It's
go.
to the left. Well, I want to get to that thing just to the left of that here in a second.
Yeah, we'll do that. I just want to show this really quick. So this is Booster 5, the aft section sitting on top of the transport stand. So you guys can see all of the marks where they well actually they cut this pretty clean.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
So, would you say this is about 80% of the work of the booster is getting this one section straight?
Um, I would say probably yeah, because I mean, with the engine compartment being down here, yeah, that's probably a safe bet, and it's definitely probably 80% of the work when it comes to scrapping this. So, I'd have to imagine that they may want to try and reuse a lot of this stuff if possible, like the COPVs or anything that's not like
Right.
directly welded down. So,
The HPU is totally reusable. The manifolds there are reusable.
ideally,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on how they were attached. So if you have to cut it off, you may not want to reinstall it potentially.
yeah. And they may have just tack welded it. Also, they would have had to have plans for accessing that HPU. So they would have made it removable somehow, right?
Yeah, most likely. I mean, if it ever needs to be swapped out, then yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, and even if it's working fairly well, sometimes you need to get in just to maintain a part like that. I mean, it's a hydraulic pump. It's got motors. It's got pressure vessels. It's got piping. Any number of things that could go wrong with those.
Agreed. And so I know you wanted to talk about this, and a lot of you, well, pretty much all of you who've watched our past episodes have also been expecting this one. So basically, this stand that we assumed was for uh, basically a Raptor Raptor workstation for the orbital launch mount actually ended up getting lifted onto this transport stand right here, which I'm on the fence about whether or not this is permanent. Um, because
Yeah,
they did all this way too fast.
it feels a little top heavy, but if it's only a man rated platform, they're not going to be dropping Raptors on it.
Yeah,
So
Something I haven't noticed anyone mention about that platform too is the structure is made of steel, but the platform and its supports are all made of aluminum. It's
yeah.
weird.
Let's take a closer look at it. Why don't we?
oh, do you have a
So
ground shot of that? Oh, look at
yes,
you.
sir. We're ready to go. So here it is from the ground, and one of the things I was mentioning is that when they set this on top of the stand, um, it moved to the launch site less than like 4 hours later. So to me, they didn't really have to do much work to attach it. There's probably a few bolts to attach it, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel the frame doesn't feel like a permanent frame to me. I have a feeling that it is able to quickly come off of this um, because I don't know. This doesn't have the ability to rise up in the air. There's no like sliding piston or something like that that would raise this up off of the ground. And I also don't see anything like a scissor lift mechanism on the inside of here. So I
I don't
don't
know. I
know.
kind of feel like it might be quick and dirty, but it might be exactly what they need. They may use this for a long time.
Yeah, I really think that's basically a transport stand, as they need to move it to and from the launch site. I think that's its purpose. It isn't going to lift it. It's just to get it to one place to another.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
it's
interesting.
under there now, though, right? Oh wait,
I
does the
don't think so.
transport stand come out whenever they after they raise it up?
Um, well, that's the thing. We haven't
Yeah.
seen them raise it up yet, but
Ah,
what we do know, so I guess let's just like look at it a little bit closer. So on each of the, I guess we call them flaps, there are these mounting points right here, and so these actually correspond to points on the tables. There's two more up here and two on the opposite side, and then there's two on either end of this one. And so basically, if we look at the launch mount,
Oh, is
um,
there a corresponding spot where you can attach it up?
yeah. So earlier this week, and this is something also that I was gonna. I'm glad we have an image of. So this is the scissor lift mechanism um, on the other Raptor transport or workstation, but you know, I just don't see this mechanism on the other stand, so I don't believe it's there. There's also no hydraulics or um, hydraulic lines visible anywhere near on it. Uh, but yeah, so on the top of this right here, or the bottom, I guess, of the launch mount table, you can see um, these brackets that have been added on, and
Oh, that's too perfect.
there's actually another one right here, and you can just barely see a fourth one right there. And so there's four on this side of the table, and there's four more on the other side of the table. So that means that basically the that stand would go through the legs from this direction. Like it has to go through this direction, um, and then somehow it's probably going to latch on to these. I'm guessing. But the thing about this is right now these currently have um, what do you call them? Chain hoists attached to them. So there's about 8 chain hoists dangling from the launch mount currently. That was done after this picture was taken. So that's kind of weird. It almost makes it look like they're going to have to use chain hoists to lift that thing up, which,
The the chain hoist actually are up more toward where the water deluge is. It's a little further back and underneath
oh,
the
so they're not
catwalk.
connected to this?
Mm-mm.
Huh.
Well,
So,
that might also just be a secondary security. You know, just it holds it up and lets it down whenever they pin it and unpin it.
um,
No, chain hoist would lift. You're right.
that's interesting. I think we may. Okay, so I'm looking at the way these are bolted in here. There's something similar on the inside of the table where more hoists could be attached to, or sorry, where those chain hoists could be attached to. And let me go.
Uh, before you
Let me
move on, two
go ahead.
things. One, my favorite thing about this image. Oh my God, look at all those engines in there. That's just amazing. And number two, look how close that, I mean, maybe it's perspective, but that scissor lift looks really, really close to the engines. I guess they were up there standing in between them, working on the power heads.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to find a specific image. Mauricio, do you know which week it was where you got super close to the launch mount and took the picture from underneath it?
That was a while back. It must have been three
Oh,
or
you
four
got to know
months
the
ago.
exact date.
Yeah.
No?
No, I don't have that on hand.
All right, maybe Max Q can find this. Max Q, if you can find a picture, that picture from underneath the launch mount, looking up at the clamps that, oh, I got it. Here we go. That was pretty quick. All right. So let's actually show this right now. Uh, oops, there we go.
Nice, nice. I love this picture.
Yeah. this is I've been wondering about this for a long time. So, there are these pads down here which look like something could bolt into them, and there's also these mounting brackets up here. So whatever is lifting up that oh, I just noticed these right here too, these hooks. I guess that makes more sense for that chain fall to be, or that chain hoist to be attached to, huh? Let's see how many of those. I can only really see one of them right here.
Nate just posted a picture of the chain hoist installed from the inside. That one might be a good point to show where they were put in, and it looks a little bit more like it's on the outside where
It's
the
on the
deluge
outside.
is.
Yeah, it's on the outside. They
All
added
right.
them sometime yesterday or last night.
And this is, and oops, let's see. Hold on. Sorry, guys. This will be an image from one of the Lab Padre cameras. So if you guys uh, need something to watch after this is over, make sure you hop over to the Lab Padre streams. Um, we really appreciate being able to show these as well. It's kind of hard to tell what these are connected to. I can't really see very well if it's connected to those brackets or not, but it kind of looks like it is. Yeah, that's a really, really tough one to tell. Um, I'm sure we'll be able to see it a little better once they actually get that stand under there. But yeah, the
Below each one, you could see the brackets also.
oops, sorry about that. I'll go back.
That's all right. So if you go straight down from those red boxes, you can see the actual metal brackets. The contrast is wonky, but that's the brackets that are there for them to
Okay,
pin it with.
I get it now. All right. So what's happening here is, and let me move back to the ground image.
So they're rolling the platform in.
Um, well, yes and no. So let me see if I can back this up a little bit. So somewhere up in here is where those are attached to. I have no idea where it's at, but that doesn't really matter exactly where it's at. The point is that those chain hoists are attached somewhere up here, and once you are on the let's get back to this picture. So those chain hoists will attach on right on this location and another one on this location. Um, and I believe there's another bracket on the other side. So this stand, I willing to bet completely detaches from this platform completely detaches from this stand. I think a lot of people were theorizing that this would get lifted on top of the other Raptor work platform, and then that would use the scissor lifts to lift it up. But um, yeah, that's not going to happen. This is way too heavy for that. You can't put both this stand and Raptors on top of that scissor lift and lift them all up at the same time. It's just not built for that. So yeah, basically by connecting those chain hoists in this location and this location, once it pulls up underneath the launch mount, hopefully it's some sort of automated system that actually pulls it up, um, pulls it up in place, and then it will latch into position using these holes right here.
And how do they actuate the flaps on the side?
That is a great question.
Is there a hoist point on the bottom right
There's
there?
not. There
No.
isn't. Unless 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 there's something through this I-beam right here that we're not able to see, I don't think there is an attachment point on the bottom.
I'll be. Yeah, well, maybe they're
Oh wait, oh, no,
looking to push it.
I don't see any.
Oh, what if you go to the bottom of the left hand side? Is there any attachment point we can see underneath?
I
No.
don't. I don't see anything. Yeah,
Oh,
so that'll be interesting to see how they get the sides of it up. There could be. mm,
yeah, you would
I
want to
have a feeling this
say
isn't finished.
that's true. It may just be missing the attachment point.
Like a hydraulic piston that actually pushes those up into place.
That seems overly complicated compared to a chain hoist.
For sure, for
Yep.
sure. When you look up here, you can see where the platform latches in.
Hmm.
Um, so it, I think, lines up with this right here, slides into that, and then they probably had to put a pin in order. That would be weird. That'd be pretty tough to do because you'd have to get underneath it in order to do that.
Yeah.
Um, so I
Hey
don't.
JB,
Yeah.
Max Q actually posted an image. There's actually some image that actually does show like a pin mechanism where you can actually do the attachment on that. He posted it there on the production chat or the live comms.
Um, oh shoot, I missed it. Where was I?
A little lower. Yeah,
Yeah,
right there.
Right
they're
here.
exact. They're
Yep.
exactly the
Ah,
same as the ones that are on top, but they're
they
really hard
are.
to tell what they are.
Yeah, they are.
'Cause
Yep.
they're
There we go.
different perspective.
Boom.
Oh, and that's part of the flap, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, there you go.
Chain hoisted up, and then the whoever's lowest man on the totem pole puts the pins in.
Yeah. Well, now we figured that one out. Now we know. Now we know how it attaches. We just don't know where that actual mounting point is on the launch mount itself. Um, but let me go back one more time. Scrolling quickly through these images. This isn't the one I want. There we go. Okay, that's the wrong image too. um, yeah, I guess I can't really see any brackets up there. Kind of hard with the shadow right now. Maybe we'll get a better image of it one of these days. But there, I'm guessing it's behind this pipe over here, so it's going to be pretty hard to actually see.
And I
Um,
would kind of imagine they would be just a quick attachment point so they could take it off whenever they take the stand off. And or do you think they would leave the chain hoist there through a launch?
I think it's. Oh
There's
wait, look,
wiring in the
here's
new
one.
box. Yep.
Oh, there you go.
So it's attached to the back wall actually, um, and there's an electric wire going to it. So this will stay in position, and it's an automated chain hoist. Nice. So we got an electric chain hoist to lift that up into position. Um,
The two silver boxes next to the little crane, the yellow crane they put on, are new.
these right
So
here.
there, yeah. So some folks have talked about those possibly being where they're going to control some of this stuff from. You know,
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Wow. Yeah, this is one of those times where we actually figure things out live on air with you guys. So that was a fun one. The funny thing is, we still haven't left the Sanchez side, guys. We're still talking about Sanchez related things. So let me hop back over there because we still got a lot to cover. Um, I actually think that may have been. Oh no, no. um, so there is one more thing a few more things I wanted to point out. So number one, um, all of these are all of the receivers that go on top of the booster transport stand. So they got these here early. They're just waiting to be installed. It's not very often we actually see these things when they're not installed. But there's one thing I wanted to point out here, which crazy that I even noticed this. Let me see if I can find the right angle of it. Hopefully, this is a good one. Yeah. So this trailer right here is new, and so are the. This is the manifold that's on it. Um, before I get into this, did we ever get that poll up in the chat? We did. So I want to see where we're at with votes. We have 302 people who have voted so far. For those of you who haven't yet, there is a poll in the chat, and we're trying to decide, do you guys think there's actually a possibility that SpaceX will attempt to catch Booster 7 on the first orbital flight attempt? And right now we have a little bit over 300 votes in, and about 72% of you said no. So, yeah, we'll see if that changes along the way in this episode. But with that, I'm going to keep moving on. And actually, you know what? I should mention, if you guys haven't liked the stream already, please do that as well. We try not to say it too often during the show, but since we're already talking about chat related things, if you guys have a chance, please go ahead and do that. We really appreciate, really appreciate you guys doing so.
Also, if you'd like to ask a question on air, just in chat, type in @question and then type out your question, and try to make it related to what we're covering at that time, or we will pick it up later whenever we're at that section. So if we're on Sanchez and you ask a question about the build site, we'll get to that with the build site.
You know, we can bounce around. It's not a huge deal, but
Yeah. We're pretty good at
I
that.
have bad ADD. So, I mean, like, look at this. This is how bad my ADD is. Can you guys see these cars parked underneath this
Man, they
thing?
got them some shade. They're smart.
That's right.
Those are some smart guys. I noticed that earlier. I was like, they're using those things for shade.
That's why they're here for so long, because they don't have a canopy. Anyways, what I wanted to point out was this manifold on the truck right here. So this might look like nothing to you guys, but this means a lot to me. This manifold right here, this is a LOX manifold. So I can tell you exactly where this goes. Let me move us over to the launch site briefly.
Hey, JB, just before you move over there, we do have some questions for the for Sanchez. There's a question here from Philakid. What is the trench from the wellhead? That's one question. We have another one here from
That's gonna take us off. I'll get back. I'll get back to Sanchez really quick. I'm just going
Just
to launch
bouncing for a second.
right back.
Yeah.
I'll cover it. So just really quickly, I will show you guys this. I think I have the launch site up. Okay, I do not. Sorry about that. There we go. That's actually the wrong one. So, tank farm. So we have our methane pumps over here. As you guys can see, there are 4 manifolds installed on this for 4 methane pumps. There's actually only 2 T's installed on the backside for the other 2 methane. Oh wait, sorry, I'm wrong. All 4 of them are installed on the backside as well too. You can just barely see them right here. What's missing is 2 T's on top for 2 more methane subcoolers. But you don't need a manifold like the one I was showing you that has 3 ports on it on anywhere on this side. But on the liquid oxygen side, and I'm going to scroll through these images to try and find what I really want. Hopefully this will do it. All right. So on the liquid oxygen side, you have 4 subcoolers. You can see the manifold that ties those in. Next to those, there's space for 2 more of these. So it's not going to go there. The only place where it's really needed is right here. So I'm going to look back at it just one more time. So you guys can see that there are the T's are super close to the end right here. And if we go back and look at this one more time, they would need to be. And you know, this shadow is killing me right now. Let me see if I can get another. This angle is actually not too bad. So you have 1, 2, 3 pumps right there, and if they tapped into this, it would basically be right on the ends right here. So that piece would fit perfectly in there. So I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to be used for. The ones on the other side are actually smaller. So there are larger inlets on the front side than there are on the back. And I'm actually not sure why that is, because your volume should shrink after the subcoolers, not before it. So I'm not really sure. But yeah, it's looking to me like, I mean, I don't know when they're going to do this, but I'm 100% expecting them to activate the rest of these liquid oxygen pumps, which makes sense because you do have. Oh wow!
What a great shot right there.
You do have 4 of them on the other side, which will soon be ready to go. You know, I'm going to go as far as to say that I also expect 2 more subcoolers to show up soon, because if you notice, the way that they've left this part, the way it looks like it does.
Accessible,
Yeah,
modifiable.
exactly. So this is the like permanent insulation, and this one usually is the last layer before they wrap it in the white layer.
So Zach, you're saying they're going to have 5 pumps going to a manifold that then feeds 6
Six.
subcoolers?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how long it takes for them to actually do that. And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't put that 5th one in there and they just use 2 of them but leave this accessible for the 5th one, kind of like they've done on this side, which you can't see because of this huge cloud. But
Also, as a reminder, they really burn through those LOX pumps. It feels like they changed those out a number of times just trying to troubleshoot. Maybe I think they ended up having to upsize the oxygen pumps because they kept breaking. And this was at the peak of the supply chain issues.
yeah, that's man, we could go on a whole rabbit hole about that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys can also see the 2 flex hoses that are needed to connect to those pumps. So again, these just got here. In my opinion, they wouldn't be here if they didn't need them. So I think we'll see that change coming probably within the next few months, possibly after the first orbital flight would be the best time to do it. Doing it before then would just,
Slow
to
them
me,
down.
that would, yeah, I mean, that's a month setback in my opinion. So um,
But good eye, man. I would have just seen a couple of pipes. You got the whole thing. I
I've been
appreciate you
waiting for
every
'em for a
day.
while. I've been waiting for these to show up for a while. So that's the only reason. I'm actually still looking for the rest of it. But yeah, so with that, let me see. I don't know if there's too much more in the Sanchez site to cover. Plus, it is 1 o'clock. We are 1 hour into the show right now. So I want to keep moving through it.
Oh, now would be a perfect time for to answer Philakid's question about the trench.
Well, not only that, just there's also one more related to Sanchez. Maybe you can just point it out real quick. Where from Santi, it is where's the water well they will use for deluge by the launch area. Actually, that's for the launch site. My bad. But we'll get to that one.
Yeah.
Well, I can answer that one right now. There is no water well at the well. Oh, okay. I take that back. I think there's a water well at the launch site. I haven't fully confirmed it, but I am pretty sure that it's there. Maybe I can even just quickly show you guys.
Quick donation here from I lost it.
Don't do
From
that.
Stumpy, we got a $20 donation from Stumpy, and it says great information being passed on. Thanks for explaining all this juicy bits. Thank you, Stumpy, for that. And then we also have Foom. He's a member for 6 months, flight supporter, and he said, "Wow." And back to you.
Wow. Great comment. I don't really see the well anymore. I'm not able to find it. I'm not. I may have to grab an older image to show you guys, but I don't know. You guys can let me in the comments if you actually want to see it, and I'll go back and find it. But as of right now, I'm
I
not.
kind of want to see it. Maybe
All right,
Max.
I'm gonna look it
Maybe
up.
we can put Max on that
I don't know
to
if he
find
knows
it
where
while we
it
go
is.
on.
If there was anybody who did know where it was, it would be him. But I don't think I've ever talked to him about that. So I may have it right here. Let me pull it up really quick. Okay, that's not going to be the one.
And while you're pulling that up, a couple of old test articles, some commodity storage there down at the Sanchez site. Oh,
Yeah.
and for new folks, Sanchez was the old name of the oil production site or liquid natural gas production site that was destined to be here, but I don't think it ever worked out too well.
Oh, there we go. All right, make sure nobody shares this image. The I believe it's right here. So you can see this little hole in the ground. So some of you may be like, "Oh no, that's the fire suppression system." That is not the fire suppression system. So the fire suppression system is right here. One, well, this was back in the day when they only had two. One, two. Oh wait, two right there, And then at some point, I believe they upgraded it. Oh wait, there's three, and maybe there's a fourth one. 4.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Is this the little system that whenever the starship landed, they tried to put out the fire with these?
It
Yes.
is.
And the funny thing is, SN9 destroyed this system. Actually, when it landed on the corner of the pad or the edge of the pad right here, and the the water actually comes from. Actually, I'm not sure if it came from there, but at this time, I think it was coming from the tank farm. Yeah, because the water tank was already installed, and the water ran along the landing pad. And when SN9 landed, it landed right here on the corner. So it ended up breaking that entire pipe and it flooded this entire area before they were able to shut it off. Little interesting piece of history, but yeah, this is the water well right here, I believe, and it appears to be like I think it has like a cover over it currently at the uh, at like today because I can't find it unless it's unless it's underneath here. I don't know where it's at. So hopefully that answered the question. What was a question from Philakid that we skipped over as well?
He was asking about a trench at the gas site.
French at the gas site.
Oh, he was asking. I think the exact question was, "What is a trench from the wellhead?"
Okay, so I'm guessing that we're talking about. I'm gonna get a closer shot. Um, this right here. Let's see. Oh wow. Okay, so um, I think this is the gas well. This is the injection well, and this could be like either pre-treatment before it leaves before they so you would offload like dirty water into here usually, and then I think it would go into these tanks, and there's probably a pump somewhere in here. This could be it right here. um that's pumping water into this well. It's the only really thing I can think of. um they shouldn't be I mean, they shouldn't be pulling anything out of there because usually you'd have to have a flare if you were doing that. So more than likely they're just sending it down, if I had to guess. That is 100% guess though. So with that being said, let's see. I don't think we have anything else at the Sanchez site. We may be able to.
Oh, what about that new parking area or whatnot, uh, or the base they were building there on the corner right next to that lot that SpaceX Unknown?
Yeah, I mean, this has kind of been in the same condition over the last few weeks, really. Um, Not a whole lot of changes over here yet, so we're kind of still waiting on that one.
Huh.
Yeah,
I was expecting them to make rapid progress there.
yeah, for sure. It seems to be like a little bit of a low priority.
Yeah. And you got to imagine they're working on, what's their burn rate and, how much money they have to accelerate what's needed. And that ain't it.
A pile of concrete culverts, that's for sure. Wow.
Yeah, they got a ton of those over there. I can switch back to that. Uh, yeah, it looks like they do have a lot of drainage that they're going to be setting up over here soon. And this is just regular storm drainage, most likely. So yeah, we'll see what they end up doing here. It's we've speculated on it a lot of times, so I think we'll save it until we actually see some progress over here. But with that, let's move over to the wide bay, or high bay 2, mega bay, whatever you want to call it.
Yep. Hour and 10 minutes. We got through Macy's and Sanchez.
um, so looking at the wide bay, there's a lot more progress on the exterior of it up at the top. So it's looking closer to being finished, and we do have um, our first I don't know if we're going to see them from this angle. The first glass panels have showed up.
Where?
I think they were. They should be down in this area over here, but I don't know if they're here in this image. Um, but we have seen at least a few glass panels show up for the Mega Bay. Um, but they're, yeah, you can see all the scaffolding up here. This is crazy. Going all the way up to
Um,
the roof.
you think they'll lift that up by crane?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing actually, because as you guys can see, there's only this crane left over. And it did have some extensions on it that allowed it to reach all the way to the top of the structure, but as you can tell, it has
Yep.
now been disassembled, so that's gonna be weird. Not really sure how they're gonna get them up there. Um, I did have one theory, which was that Marvin, which is the SpaceX crane at the launch site, could come to the build site for a few weeks while they're doing static fire testing and, um, you know, and whatnot. So that would be a good time for them to use that crane to lift those panels up. It probably wouldn't take that long, I have to imagine. So that is one solution to that problem. But other than that, I mean, I don't think they can't fit them in the elevator. So unless
Is
they
there a
use,
ground view of those panels, GB?
yeah, let me see if I don't think Mauricio got an image of them, but I did get one from Lolo Matico 3D, who was one of our CSI Starbase 3D forensics agents. He was able to send me this image of the ground from the ground. This is one of those window panels right here,
Oh,
and
there you go.
this is hilarious because I can't believe there's nothing supporting. Like it's just sitting there. Like there's no wind in Boca Chica.
Actually, I had a video where I was posting. It was actually pretty. The winds were pretty strong, and they was swaying back and forth. I
Oh my
was just
god.
there watching it, trying to see if it was gonna fall at any point, but it didn't. So,
Well,
um,
they must know what they're doing then, or they have good insurance.
Yeah, I think some people believe that these will fit in the elevator. I'm not really sold on that, but I'm not going to calculate out the interior volume of that elevator because I don't do math when I'm not at work. So, with that
Zach,
being said, let's
can you
move back
jump
over.
back? Can you jump back to the picture of the front of the top of Wide Bay?
Yeah,
I wanted to point out something there. So look at how the scaffolding. It's on the left-hand side. It's on the right-hand side, but it's missing from the from a large portion of the front.
right up here.
So I was expecting by now. Am I not seeing it or?
No, it's not there. And I think I also have some ground images that we can show that even better. Um,
Look at
while you're
Booster A
talking about
getting
the elevator.
stacked too.
Oh yeah, look at that. I didn't realize that Mauricio actually caught that. Um,
That was the exact moment it was landing. The methane section was coming down. It's like a foot apart from the. Look how perfect that timing is. Good job, Mauricio.
wow, mid stack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And I I do have a ground image I'll swap over to right here. So you guys, oops, can see
There we go. Perfect.
the top of the wide bay and yeah, there's tons of scaffolding on the left side and starting to come around the front of the right side, but the crane left. So I'm not really sure. I mean, I feel like most of the scaffolding was lifted up here by the crane that's leaving. So that'll be interesting. I mean, obviously they can just take scaffolding up the elevator and then walk out here and hand it to each other, but it's a lot faster if you're taking bundles of it up at one time.
Right.
So it's interesting that they the
Bottom
crane is
right,
leaving.
mustache.
Oh, yep, we got a
Yeah,
mustache
you can see the mustache.
They painted that on the gantry crane there for funsies.
just for this stream.
That's right.
um, yeah, while we're here, I haven't really noticed anything else on the inside of here as far as like setting up electrical work and all that stuff goes. Um, so it seems to me like they're not in a huge rush on the interior of this building. but I do expect that sometime in the next few weeks we'll see them get started with those glass panels.
So currently, where do you speculate they have the launch control center? Do you think it's in the Stargate building right there?
Yeah, most likely in the Stargate building. Um, that's really the only structure here that would probably fit that, if I had to guess. It's most likely on the second floor up here.
Yep. And just briefly, at the top of High Bay, there's a balcony to get from the left side to the right side, which is great for fire escape and getting to both areas. The center has to kind of remain open. Is the same structure going to be on Wide Bay, you think?
I doubt it. There's not really, as cool as it would be to have a balcony up here, there's not really
Oh,
a,
look, it's
a
straight
reason
across.
for it.
There's no need for that. Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. With having access to the full upper floor, there's not really a need for a balcony, although it would be really awesome if there was one. Um,
I mean,
but yeah,
wraparound porch would be pretty cool.
I agree. I agree 100%.
Have some
um,
mojitos up there. Kick back.
yeah, one thing I wanted to mention. So there's a lot of random objects on the ground out here, but what's really cool, and this is something I will probably be also talking about in my next TSI Starbase episode, is these panels right here. So we talked about these last week. These are the uh, High Bay 2 work platforms, or the tower they call them, I believe. Um, so these actually are mounted in the corners of the building, in the inside corners, and it allows the booster to basically butt right up against these. Um,
When I saw these, I was excited because I was blown away that they were building another, you know, the wide bay, and they had not at any point shown that they were going to use mezzanines for anything. And I was like, you need mezzanines. Quit using lifts for everything you're doing.
If for
yeah,
nothing else, get rid of all that beeping. But yeah, you look at the VAB down at the Cape. It's full of mezzanines. It's full of
Yeah.
those work platforms, and they're super useful just to be able to walk up and do the work you need without having to be swaying on a lift all day.
And they can be
yeah,
real creative with them. I don't know what SpaceX is going to do, but I know, like, in the manufacture of airplanes like Boeing and Airbus, they have mezzanines that can actually be, mechanically lifted up and down, and you can shift them. And they had a lot of flexibility if you design them correctly.
well, these ones aren't going to be able to move. I would explain that part, but that's going a little too deep for today, because I don't want to ruin the entire episode, this part of the episode. But we do have some walkways over here as well. So if you guys notice, on the end of this platform, the hand railing stops. So basically, this platform right here will go in the um, back right corner, back left corner, and that'll allow the elevator to pass by it. Um, and then there'll be a walkway connecting it to uh, this one. I think there's a break in the handrail right here. Actually, no, it's right there on this one. I don't know if it's on both sides. I don't think it is. Let's see if we can get a better shot of that. There we go. So,
Nice.
okay, it looks like we're gonna have walkways on both sides.
Man, I can't wait to see your deep dive on that.
Yeah, I'm assuming this may end up circling or going around most of the perimeter of the inside, which would be really cool. And I'm actually, let me look for one more angle.
When you can, go back to that picture. I want to talk about a few other things that I just noticed.
Yeah, I was sorry. I was looking to see if there was any signs there was going to be more of these, but right now it's looking like there may only be 4, which is interesting. So what
So
was the
zoom in on the manifold at the bottom of booster 5 there. Oh, is that booster 5? That's a downcomer.
Yeah, this is the downcomer that nobody could ever find.
Wow.
we like weren't even sure where it was for the longest time. There's a lot of controversy about that one.
And look at the exhaust manifold in the shadow there of it's too bad it's a little dark, but in the
Where?
top right. No, top. Yeah, there. Right there. To the right. Yes. Zoom in on that if you could.
Are you talking about the
Yeah.
booster 5?
Yeah, the manifold for splitting up the methane. So the methane downcomer comes into that and then splits out to all the exterior and central engines.
I'm
And
trying to see if I can get a better overhead view of it. No, that might be the best one I have at the moment. Is that here? Yeah, I can
there we go.
see it relatively well.
We need just a little bit more quality on these pictures. So now would be a great time. Hey guys, for me, if y'all could donate to RGV for the new camera fund, we can get an even clearer picture of stuff like this. But yeah, this is a great image. You can see just how it splits off all that methane. Now the oxygen just rests down there and pulls up, and can be directly pulled down from the oxygen inlets. Sorry, Mauricio, were you saying something?
Oh yeah, we got some donations here from PayPal. We got James Cavett sent $10 for the camera fund and fuel. Appreciate that. And Martin F. Wilcox sent $20 for the new camera as well. And we also have some new memberships here from Stumpy Foom Wow times 2. Thank you for that for 7 months membership. And we got Rocket Profit. Starbase Weekly is the best for teaching kudos. Member for 7 months. And I think that's it for now. Actually, Jim Cavett gifted 5 RGB aerial photography memberships. I'm trying to figure that part out. There's a new feature on YouTube to start gifting memberships. I'm trying to figure out how to do that on my end, just so that other people get to try out the perks of becoming a member. Definitely supports us, and we also give back and provide these images in high resolution for download and early access as well. Going back to the stream here, Zach.
Yeah, and if you guys are members, then we definitely encourage you to download all of the images before the show. That way you have a chance to go through them. And if you guys have any questions that you want to ask during the show, it's nice to be able to review stuff beforehand, so you are able to show up with those questions. But yeah, also I think some people like to go through these just by themselves anyways, because I kind of zip through these a little bit fast. So definitely a great reason to become a member if you guys haven't already. And yeah, with that being said, oh, sorry, I just noticed something, but yeah, sorry, continuing on.
Yeah, I was loving the picture of the Booster 5, the design of the what do you call it, the grid fins and the motors all there, and also the comparing them to the new grid fins that are up in the top. It looks so off-putting seeing it not on top of the booster.
I agree. This would be a cool thing to have, like at a playground or something.
Oh yeah, hang a swing set from each of them.
Yeah, maybe even 2.
Some guy made a coffee table out of those, and I've been thinking about doing that for myself, just getting some sheet metal. I mean, some structural steel, and getting it done myself. That'd be super fun. But yeah, look at the new ones right there. They're gray. I assume they're going to be painted with some high temp. We'll see. Just
is that the gray ones that have been there for a while though? The old style.
Are they old style or are they new style?
I believe these are new. So if we look at these ones, it's tough to tell. So these 1, 2, 3, 4 grids across, and this one is 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are the older ones. It looks like.
I remember when those showed up. We were all like, "Wait, they're gray."
Uh-huh. Time to ship them off to Sanchez, or if they're selling them, maybe I'll buy one for my living room. They're about the size of a Cadillac, though.
So let's see. One second. counting beams over here, trying to figure out how many more of these platforms there's going to be. It looks like there will be at least one more of them, but we're going to have to find out that one next week. There's
Jimmy, do you
also
think they'll at at some point put some that they can kind of lift up out of the way so they can fully encircle a booster to work on it?
I don't think that there's really a need to fully encircle it just because you can spin it around.
Just spin it.
Um,
That's yeah. Okay.
and also, um,
What's the
well,
Stargate right
there's a
there?
lot more that uh, that they could be able to do. But I'll save that just because we have a lot more that we gotta
Yeah.
cover today. I am sorry, just scrolling down here trying to make sure I didn't miss anything.
In the top left, you have the Stargate SG-1 right there, top right now.
Oops.
Just
Wait,
a circle standing up. Sorry, to your left. You keep going past it. There's just a circle standing up for some reason to the left.
oh, this right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to know what those are for. I think they're baffles. I'm not 100% sure though. So yeah, moving on. Let's go ahead and slide over to the other side of the ring yard. And Max, you confirmed for us in the background, those are the old methane tank baffles or methane header
Thank
tank
you.
baffles. So
So that's 25 there. Am I
yeah,
right?
we got ship 25 in the mid bay. That would be its rock
Locks.
tank section. Yeah,
Yep.
so you can see inside of there. Um, yeah, this is really cool being able to look inside here. You got some handrails up.
I was about to say I've never
down
noticed those handrails. That's great. Don't fall in.
Have you ever been on one of those roller coaster rides where you come down the slide and then you end up spinning around the bowl? I forget what it's called.
Yeah. We have those.
Yeah, they should donate one of these for that.
Little sharp edges here and there. No biggie.
Yeah, you just buff them out.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is get rid of the edges and they'll be fine.
So I wanted to put it out there that I was very optimistic, and I'm still standing by it, that I fully expect that they're going to have 7 and 24 out testing, and they're going to finish 25 and 8 and move those down to the launch site at the same time. Now, they're just going to do cryogenics, and they're going to have to take them back to the build site afterwards. So they won't be there during the launch and potential catch, but I think they will be all down there, all 4 of them, 7, 8, 24, and 25, as well as the E-Dome and, who knows what other test tank they might have down there. But I think all of that testing is going to be going on at the same time. I kind of expect that. I'm bullish on that.
Yeah, this is a rare that we get to see the top of starships like this because they usually get brought straight into the mid bay. So we don't really see them unless they get scrapped normally. And I think one of the only reasons we have this view right now is because Mauricio flew so late in the day. So
Yeah.
the sun is actually shining directly through the door. So there's lots of advantages in going later in the day. There's also advantages in going earlier in the day because we get to see inside of the high bay 1 and high bay 2. But yeah, and sorry I'm speaking so fast. There's a ton of stuff that I know we're gonna have to get to today. Um, but I'm sorry, I'm just making sure that there's nothing else out here that we skipped over. There's got a ton of random ring sections and transport stands.
Starlink loader box that we've spent hours on.
Yeah, and I want to touch base on the survey that we have going, but I can't see the results of it anymore.
Oh, it was 7327. No, not going to catch it this time.
Wait, the survey ended?
Yep.
Oh man. Okay. Well,
So I think that would be the same thing to do. But yeah.
yeah. Well, the reason we asked this question is because of something we're going to discuss here in about half an hour. SpaceX released, or I don't know if SpaceX released it, but basically there's updated flight plans for the first orbital test. So we're going to be discussing those later, and that's why we asked that question. So I guess it looks like before we even get there, about 72% of you don't think that they would attempt to catch the booster on the first try. But we will see. Like I said, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But before I continue on, because we're going to go over to the Starfactory, if you guys haven't done so already, please make sure to like the screen, or like the screen. hit the like button at the bottom of the screen. Looks like there's about 550 of you guys in here, so thank you for being with us. And if you guys can help us match that with likes, we'd appreciate that a ton. So with that, we're going to go ahead and slide over to the Starfactory, if I can hit the right button. And actually, really quick, before we start on this, did we have any more questions?
Let me see here. I think we might have a couple of questions here.
Just a reminder, if you want to ask a question, it's at symbol followed by the word question with no spaces, and then start typing your question. So at question and then type away.
I think this question was related to the Sanchez or the launch site, but it's from Stephen Lewis. Question: do the pumps pump fuel or LN2? I think that was over at for the launch site when you were covering that. But maybe you can answer that when we get there again.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. And really quick, just so everybody knows, it's exclamation mark questions. We get that confused sometimes because we are also commentators for Lab Padre, and over there it is.
Oh, my
questions.
bad.
But over here it's exclamation mark questions. But if you guys accidentally put at in there, we will catch them, and we'll still be able to answer them for you guys. So don't worry.
I'm just going to go over a couple of donations that came through just a while ago. James Winlow sent $25 for the new camera fund. Thank you, Jacob. And we also have a couple more here from Pete. 10, I think it's Australian dollars for the camera fund. Let's get this camera in the air. And we have also PN what did a super chat for $20 camera fund match. Thanks for the excellent coverage, y'all. And another one by Mighty Dundon. 20, what currency is that? Camera, I'm not sure what the currency is, but camera fund, keep up the great content. Thank you very much, Mighty. And back to you, Zach.
Cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say I was a little bit disappointed with the Starfactory progress this week because I'm pretty sure it looked like this last time we saw it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm feeling real disappointed dad energy. Like, what have you guys been doing?
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of stuff going on other places, but they did start the roof last week, and I believe that there was little to no progress there since then. But there is a little bit more happening on the inside, so I have a few images of the inside that I will be able to show you guys right here. Oops. So starting with this one right here. Actually, let me go back a little bit. Oh, what is this? Okay.
What?
I'm guessing this is something that goes inside of a booster.
Those are giant forks, when you
Looks like
really need to.
these get welded onto the
Oh, what do you call it? Not
Oh.
pressure relief.
the autogenous.
Yeah. No, those are seem pretty big for that.
Well, they're gonna look bigger from the ground, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think that could be what they're for, but we'll see. There's 3 of them, so that seems about right. But anyways, moving back to what we were talking about. If you look on the inside of the Starfactory, it looks like they have started running electrical lines back here. So you can see the conduit going up a little bit closer to the roof. Oh wow, we got some lights hanging from the roof as well too now. I maybe those were there last week. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, we have three lights at least. Not really anything else. And it looks like this electrical conduit is probably running down to this building in the back right here, or not building, but a room, which is a 2-level room, which has been closed in on the bottom. So I'm guessing all the mechanical stuff is down in this room and in the one on the second floor up here. So like all of the circuit breakers and whatnot that control this part of the building are probably inside of here. But yeah, I mean, when you look at it from down here, it looks like there's a massive amount of work going on, right? But I don't know. When you look at it from above, it doesn't really it doesn't look like they're doing much, but they are. Um, and I saw we had a question come in. Somebody asked, I think it was Stephen Lewis, where is the roof? Expecting more progress. Uh, yeah, you and me both, Stephen. I was really hoping that we were going to see a lot more progress on here, especially considering the progress that we've seen down at the Roberts Road facility, which if we have time we may cover some of that later. But yeah, I mean, not a whole lot here. There is some bracketry that's been installed for the air conditioning units, which are well, there's one sitting right here, but there's even more of them over to the left over here. If I can find another image in a little bit, I'll show that. Um, but you can also see this little control bunker right here, which is something we talked about this week. This is a bunker which probably has a whole bunch of um, what do you call them?
Transformers.
Yes, exactly. Bunch of transformers in here, and then it looks like this feeds directly into the building. So I'm guessing it feeds into that mechanical room, like we were saying before. And that same mechanical room is probably going to be what feeds up to power all of the air conditioning units on the top of the building. Um, so uh, yeah, we'll have to see. Hold on. I just saw a comment from Dave Avery, which we're gonna have to go back and investigate really quick. Dave says there are 3 pipe and there are ball valves near the ceiling tee.
Ooh, there are.
Hmm.
Uh, over here.
Yeah. Yep. Sure are.
Fire suppression,
Yeah, that
pneumatic,
I'm
hydraulic.
gonna say pneumatics, maybe water.
pneumatics would make a ton of sense for sure. Um, in my opinion, that would be the most likely.
Yeah, hydraulics you wouldn't run like that, but fire suppression, yeah. But pneumatics, my bet would be pneumatics. I like how they color coded it: gray, white, black.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. I mean, it could theoretically be water as well too. Um, but I doubt that.
Yeah,
I mean, you do have, white and gray water, black water, which is your
yeah, but you wouldn't have that in the
equivalent.
inside of a
Okay.
production facility.
No, probably not.
And we know it's not electric because the ball valves don't work that way.
True. Um, so yeah, let me hop back up in the air. Let's see. Here we go. So as I mentioned, there's not a whole lot to cover here at the Starfactory. They still got this little section of the roof that needs to be completed. Um, but yeah, moving on a little bit. Um, sorry, I'm trying not to go too fast 'cause I'm really excited for the rest of the stuff that we have to talk about today.
Me
Um,
too.
but let's go over to the ground fabrication area.
We got Dave saying that those are 3 pipe and there are ball valves near the seating tee.
Yeah,
Probably
those are the ones.
argon and two. Not sure if you covered that already.
Oh, that's a good call. I mean, air and argon makes sense.
Yes. So moving over to the ground fabrication area, there's not a whole lot happening here. There is a weird looking partial frame that's being in the process of being created down here, which we'll have to keep an eye on in the future because I'm pretty sure we'll see more of these pieces, and I haven't seen this before, so it'll
But
be
do you
interesting.
imagine being the guy in charge of keeping track of all this stuff?
I
Oh
am the guy.
man.
Just kidding.
Where do we put the flux capacitor?
I feel like I am that guy most days. Um,
Yeah. You'd be good at it if you could take the pay cut.
uh, yeah, yeah, that
Let's
would
see.
definitely got to consider that. um,
Let's see. Is that the methane section or the ship section
this
there?
is yeah, this inside of the low bay right here, or iron hinge, whatever you want to call it. Um, this is ship 25's payload section, which has the PEZ dispenser mounted inside of there. Oh wait, okay. I guess this is ship 26's payload bay, not 25. Um, so yeah, it has the Starlink adapter, um, or the Starlink dispenser inside of here already, and they recently lifted in um the sliding door as well too, which we're not able to see from this side, but
Yeah,
um,
I saw a great video on that. But yeah,
yeah,
25's methane section is getting tiled up in the tent number 3.
yeah, and right here we have shoo, ship 25's nose cone.
I believe
Um,
so, yeah.
yeah, so you guys can see how that looks right now. It looks really, really good. Uh,
Hmm.
this has got to be the best one I've seen so far. And let me, that's definitely worth grabbing a ground image of that. So let's go ahead and see if I can find one really quick.
It really makes you look back at 20 and go, wow, those tiles sure were janky. But yeah, they're getting smoother with each iteration. Oh, look at that. She's smooth.
Yeah, this is, like I said, easily the best one that I've seen so far.
Like
Yeah, they've
follow
come a
the
long
left
way.
hand edge. Yeah. Follow the left hand edge down and look at it from an aerodynamic. Look how smooth that is, just
We got,
all the way down.
we got a little bit of a bump right here, but that's not much.
Yeah. Oh, compared to 25, it looked like, crooked teeth. And there's a little bit of flex right there on that row. I'm seeing just below the lift, that point right there. Yeah, look how. So, still room for improvement.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of a shadow down the bottom here. What do you
Yeah.
think, Nate? Is this the best one you've seen so far?
Oh yeah, easily. It's amazing. Each one seems to be a little bit better than the one before, and come a long way from the guys out there beating it with a rubber mallet.
God, I sure do miss those Mark 1 days. That was some great times. And look, to be fair, whenever they built Mark 1, we all stood there in amazement. And, we all halfway believed they'd be flying by November of 2019?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
many dates that went by
I
really
know,
quick.
I know.
So many dates.
um, swapping back over here, we, there's not, like I said, there's not a whole bunch happening over at the ground fabrication building. We do have a lot of booster sections. This is for uh, the thrust dome, the thrust
Thrust
puck.
puck.
Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, and then I believe these half sections are possibly for a downcomer. I'm not really sure, but yeah, this is booster 11's thrust puck, which is insane. Thinking that we're already at number 11 as far as in production, but yeah, this is they're getting pretty wild out here. Um, I'm just scrolling through here really quick because I don't.
The
Oh
ship
man,
half
yeah,
that.
look at this. We don't really see this often either.
Mm-mm.
Is
So
that the internal aft?
Yep.
yep, this is
What? Wait, can we spend a
ship
little time on that? What are we
26.
looking at?
Ship 26's thrust section. Let me see if I got a better shot of that too. This one looks like it may be directly overhead.
Nice. Every time we get a little bit of a fuzzy shot, I'm like, hey guys, donate so we can get a better camera.
I mean, I can only imagine what this would look like if we had the 60 megapixel camera right now.
I
But
know, I know.
we're on our way there. And again, thank you to everybody who's donated towards the new camera fund. We will be upgrading from a 40 megapixel camera to 61 megapixel. Not only more resolution, obviously, but just more reliable in general. Since Mauricio's been having some issues with the one that he's currently using. So we appreciate everybody who's donating towards that. And yeah, I mean, it's going to get even more exciting having that as we go because clearly SpaceX is stepping up their production cadence pretty drastically.
Yeah, talking about that. Sorry, Grandpa Joe. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that that's the real key here is that production cadence. Building one great starship is pretty cool. Building 1,000 of them is a whole new level. So, yeah. Go ahead, Mauricio.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that the actual difference on the camera megapixels is actually from 24 all the way to 61. So there's a big gap.
Oh, snap.
Jesus.
Thought it was
And
40.
no, I wish it was 40. At this point, I mean, we did get a bunch of super chats and PayPal donations. There was one that I forgot earlier from Foom. It was a super chat for $5 US. I'd stump you here. That was the message for that. And then also we had quite a few donations. Michelle, as much of y'all, she sent a generous $100 donation. It says $100 for the camera fund. Please match me. And shortly after, Matthew did match via PayPal. Matthew Arntz, he sent 150 US dollars for the new camera, and he said that the pinned camera fund message is not working. I need to fix that. Not sure what's going on there. And then we got another one. Jeff sent 10 currency dollars for
Euros.
the camera fund. Is that euros? And then Golden Boy also sent $10. We need that camera as soon as possible. Can't wait for the 61 megapixels. Thank you, Zach.
I
And back to you, Zach.
say as soon as possible. I said ASAP. That's two very different distinctions because one of them is a lot more urgent, even though the same thing.
I see.
We do need that ASAP.
Oh, and
But
one
yeah,
last
huge.
John Dopeker. John Dopeker, $10 US dollars for the camera fund. Thank you all for the donations. I really appreciate it. We're getting a lot closer. I don't know if I talked about it, but we kind of got our percentage went down just because of the camera went up in price. It's a Sony A7R4. It used to be $29.99 at Best Buy, and they raised up the price everywhere, including Best Buy, to $34.99. So there's like a $500 increase on that camera now for whatever reason. Not sure what that is, but yeah, we're getting there. We'll get that camera for sure, and it's all because of the help from the community, and I definitely do appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, huge thanks to Michelle. And who was the other person who donated the 150?
It was Matthew Arntz. He said $150 donation.
Wow.
And
Thank you, Matthew.
yeah.
Huge help. Real appreciate.
Yeah, and thank you everybody else who donated as well too. Yeah, you guys are amazing. I hope we get there. I feel like we're going to get there pretty quick.
And speaking of milestones, hey, 600 viewers. Man, this is huge. Thank you guys for all showing up. And yeah, stick around till 2:00, and we'll definitely give you everything you want to see.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on this area because there's a few random objects in here. There's a new one. Can't figure out what it is, but it just looks really odd,
So many comments. It looks like a tank of sorts.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I guess. So moving on. I think that's pretty much it for this area. We could probably go ahead and hop over to the northern part of the site, or the what used to be the BFC shed. Sorry, I just can't get that out of my head. Funny image to have stuck in your head. So, moving over a little bit north of the site, we have the United Rentals Yard in full swing. Holy crap. These guys are busy. I'm not even going to count them. We got all kinds of...
make sure you're on the right screen there, Zach.
Whoops. Sorry, I forgot to switch over. My bad, guys. Okay. Here we are.
Wow.
This is the United Rentals Yard.
Telehandler heaven over there. Wow.
Yeah, this is crazy. We got telehandlers, you got aerial work platforms, you got scissor lifts, even more scissor lifts. This is crazy.
Wow. Yep, that's certainly United Rental. They're keeping them busy. Good Lord, generators, all that.
I feel like they maybe should have gave them even more space. It looks like they had to encroach. Oh yeah, it looks like they took at least one of the shipping containers down. So maybe United Rentals is about to expand into this area right here. That you're doing work if you need this many, if you have this many
just out of commission right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not to say that they're all out of commission. They sometimes, if they're just not being used, this may just be a good place to park them. But it is very possible that they actually are all needing maintenance at the same time.
So I wanted to throw out there that sometimes it's better to buy something But when you rent something, you get the maintenance with it too. And if you're beating up equipment like a rented mule, then, you definitely want somebody else maintaining it. It ends up being cheaper in the long run than trying to keep it up to date yourself. But yeah, sometimes it's just sure is fun to, have your own crane, have your own telehandlers, etc.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, moving over to this area, it's getting a lot more crowded up here. Without comparing this to images from a few weeks ago, it's a little bit difficult for me to say what all is going on in here. But this is the ground tracking station, and as I said, there's new shipping containers being added in here alongside the wall, which is weird because there's already a fence. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's tons of shipping containers in here. There's still electrical conduit being ran as well too. So I kind of expect this area to see some even more changes soon. But uh, yeah, for now, not a whole lot to mention over here. But moving on to this area of where the BFC shed is or was. So this is the building that the BFC shed, or the BFC, which is the
The big
big
Falcon crane.
yeah, that is the one that is sitting inside of Sanchez right now. I might as well just go ahead and show it really quick. Um, hopefully it's
The BFC was the crane that was to be.
yeah, it's right here. So this crane right here used to be inside of uh the shed on the left, but now it is currently sitting inside the Sanchez site waiting to be uh I was told that the word is that it's been sold, but it hasn't been picked up yet. So we're waiting, I guess, for that buyer to come pick it up. Sorry for skipping through these images so quick. Um,
You want to give a quick overview of all the stuff we're looking at over there? I mean, I know there's the solar panel farm, there's the microwave antennas, a little observatory.
no, no,
Okay,
no, because we got
we got to roll. Okay, I hear you.
yeah. Um, next time. So we do have this building under construction right now, which is a little bit well, significantly larger than what that crane, the shed that crane was originally stored in. And so we also have some images of this from the ground, which we're going to take a look at right now. Um, let me go ahead and swap us over there and search for it at the same time.
Yep. Enjoy this view while you have it. Being able to see inside of that shed is a very limited time offer.
Yeah, they're probably getting close to being able to putting a door on the front of this. So this is what it looks like from the front right now. And I
What
believe,
on earth is that?
yeah, this is a frame that looks like it's being taken apart, actually. So let me look at this from the frontal view. I'm not really sure what's going on here. I believe they're taking this apart. Um, this actually almost looks like a storage rack to me. Um, and I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't belong here.
Huh.
Um, so one thing that I would expect maybe is if they had a need for lots of storage inside of the Starfactory, that they're going to want to build all of that equipment somewhere. And like they do use the ground fabrication building right now for constructing all of um, the turntables and stuff. But they're going to have a lot of cranes and whatnot inside of that building, and possibly storage racks and whatnot, conveyor belts. So it would be really helpful while there's all that work going on inside of Star Factory to construct some of that stuff offsite and then just be able to send it over there. So
I see they have air conditioning there at the lower level, but why is this building so tall? What do you think? Is it the gantry cranes or?
I think it could be because of that crane. So if we move over to this image, you can just barely see where that crane is up here. I mean, obviously, there's way more roof space above where that crane is, but I mean that's as high as it can reach. So it's not like they're going to be able to create shelves or and you know have like high amount of storage in there. So I don't know. To me, this looks like a workshop, not really for storage.
Yeah. Of
And
course, the most popular opinion is that it's a Starlink installation shed where they roll up the mystery box, but that still doesn't explain why they built it so high. I mean, look at all that overhead there.
yeah, and thanks to Max Q for sending this to us. It actually looks like Starship Gazer, guessing, took this picture. It looks like this is a night shot. Um, and it looks like now there is a garage door
No.
installed on this. So as I mentioned, this is from Starship Gazer. So um, if you guys are able to support him as well, we definitely appreciate that. He's, definitely much welcome in this community, and we like to see him out there all the time. He hasn't been live streaming lately, but it's really nice if you guys all support him because he's part of the Team Space team. So appreciate being able to show these images, and shout out to Starship Gazer. Oops, I almost switched to the wrong image. So we're back in the air, um, and it is just about 2 o'clock. So I think we're going to move over to the launch site. But first, we're going to talk about some news that came out last night. Um, and it has to do with the first orbital flight. So let me go ahead and swap over to that really quick. And you know what, Grandpa Joe, how about you give us the intro on what we're looking at here?
All right. So this is the application from SpaceX to broadcast radio signals through an area. And the FCC has an approval process that SpaceX was already approved by the FCC for a flight plan. So when you're doing an orbital launch and you're broadcasting, you have the possibility of interfering with other radio operations, other communications, satellites, ground-based stations, etc. So in order to get the FCC's approval, you have to submit a flight plan for what you plan to do when you launch. And this is that plan. And, they have decibel ratings of how much radio frequency, they have areas, heights, where they're aiming, etc. So the FCC is in the process of reviewing that. But as a government organization, they have a duty to release these plans to the public very rapidly. I think 10 days after they have them. Or you can get a Freedom of Information Act to see them. So the absolutely most interesting part about this, everything I said is kind of boring, security of, radio operations. But the really cool part is the flight plan. And oh my God, is it ambitious. This is exciting. I'm going to wait for Zach to come back and scroll to it. But boy, let me just say, if this is true, they are being ambitious.
Oh yeah, super ambitious.
Sorry about that.
No worries. All right,
yeah.
I set the stage. Let's get to the glory shot of that flight
The
plan.
good part.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of crazy, and I just want to re-highlight, something that you mentioned, which is, this is not an application for overall testing. This appears to me to be only related to the first test. So with that being said, they are leaving that option open to catch the booster on the first launch attempt, which is why we had that poll at the beginning of the stream where we asked, if you guys thought that SpaceX would actually attempt something like that on the first launch, and I think the results were 72% of you said no.
Nope. And let me add one different interpretation, Zach. They may need the flight profile approved and not the particular flight. So this may just be an option for them to use rather than this is how they have to do the first flight. So this could just be an additional approved flight profile.
Right. So, I let me start by saying I don't want to see this happen. Like, I hope they don't do this on the first launch. But we're just gonna stick. I'm gonna stick to the facts on this one. So, this is what the launch profile looks like for the booster. So this was explained to me last night because I am not an aerospace engineer. So I now have a little bit better understanding of it. But the red line right here is the launch phase. So everything that is red is the powered phase of launch. So you can see that it's not that far away from where it launches from, where you have the actual stage separation happen at. And yeah,
Mhm.
this view is kind of deceiving because you'd almost expect to see it like way up here, but then that would actually make it look like it's traveling over in that direction. So I think they just kept it like low profile. But what you're seeing right here is stage separation,
I-
followed
Is your
by,
mouse on the page?
oh, I guess you can't see the mouse. Okay, here we
There
go.
you go. Now, there
All
we
right.
go. Sorry,
So
that helps.
here's your launch point back at Starbase, and then right here is your stage separation point. Uh, and I'm guessing the booster's doing a backflip at that point.
Yep, and
And
you're doing your boost back burn right there.
holy crap,
Yeah. Now
that is crazy.
recall. So, if you could go all the way back to the beginning. So, first thing to note, no, I'm sorry, of the launch profile. So, starting there, you notice they only go up vertically. When I was a kid, I used to think, oh, orbital means going up into outer space. No, orbital means going sideways really, really fast. So, they launch, and as soon as they get out of the very thickest part of the atmosphere, they start turning and they start booking it sideways. And the direction they're going also gives them an orbital advantage because the Earth rotates. And this first red line is, I believe, 170 seconds according to the FCC documentation. So they're launching, turning sideways, and burning like 98% of their fuel or something along those lines in that first red line. And that's using all 33 engines. Now, at cutoff, right there, the 20 Raptor engines on the outside can never be relit again. They are only started using the launch table. That leaves you 13 engines where it's possible to relight them. And as Elon and Tim Dodds pointed out, they are using ullage to do that kickflip, and we've been seeing a lot of testing of that, haven't we?
Yeah. Man, it's sorry, I'm just thinking about this boost back. It's really interesting to see that profile because I don't, I mean, at least I haven't really seen that. Those of you who play Kerbal probably were expecting it to look something like this. But yeah, it's interesting the way that it's basically flying in reverse, dropping speed this entire time so it can.
Right. Still traveling up. It's still keeping that inertia of going up, up, up,
Yeah.
which, you would think, oh, why don't they just keep the Starship all the way there? But the idea is not just height and not just how far downrange it can go. The real idea is how fast can you get there? Because every second you're going slow, you're losing to gravity, you're losing to aerodynamics. So you really want to just and look, the Starship system is heavily favored in Delta V to the upper stage. Despite the massive and incredible size of the booster, the ship is just as equally incredible in terms of its capability.
Yeah.
And at that point, you can also definitely use your vacuum engines. I think would be perfectly operable right there. But yeah, this boost back burn is probably only 3 engines. What do you think, Zach?
Uh, if I had to guess, it may be at least possibly 13. I don't know. I'm really not sure on that one, truthfully. Um, but uh, one thing that I wanted to mention, like as it turns around, it's crazy that this is enough time of powered flight right here from the point where it cancels out its velocity to where it turns around. That is enough um,
Your mouse is missing
acceleration in
again.
here to get it all the way back. Oops, sorry. Enough acceleration just in this point right here to get it all the way back to the launch site.
Oh, so that brings up another great point. That yellow line right there is entirely
Gliding.
lifting body mechanism. So the chines, the shell itself are all that's supporting it all that way back. And that's groundbreaking just right there alone.
Yeah, and the thing about this is that it's really interesting. I mean, obviously most of us were expecting them to ditch it in the ocean the first time, which, in my opinion, and I guess most of you feel the same way, is probably still what's most likely to happen. However, this is SpaceX, so we have to leave
YOLO.
open the option that they may actually do this on the first try, which I seriously hope doesn't happen. Um, well, yeah, I take that back. So, when they're coming back along this path, they're going to be, um, guiding it in the entire time, obviously, and so they're going to probably like around this point probably be feeling pretty good if it makes it this far. Um, the question is, and they don't show it here.
They
Um,
kind of do. You see
where,
that little curve right there, a little
well,
bit
right.
back.
Well, what I want to know is where the landing burn starts. So, what I'm thinking is if the Raptors light up successfully, let's say the landing burn starts right here or something like that. If the Raptors start up successfully, uh, and they spend like 2 seconds wiggling around the gimbaled Raptors, making sure they have the control they want, I feel like that might be enough for them to be like, yeah, we're going to land it. Because if they have similar amount of control that they do with Falcon 9, they will be successful in that landing. I have no doubt about that. Just trying it on the first attempt is 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 crazy.
It seems so
It's,
crazy.
it's crazy.
It's like, where's the ditch point at?
But like I said, if the engine relight happens right here, and by this point everything is still good, I would not be surprised if they went ahead and tried to catch it. The
There's
question,
so many ifs. There are
yeah.
so many different variables in that one moment. Woo! Man, it makes me nervous, but boy, I am excited to see that. God, I'm going to watch the first launch.
So we're gonna
But
have
if
to
I get to
discuss
watch
whether
a
or not it's
ditch,
even
sorry, go
possible
ahead.
to catch it at this point in time. So we're gonna have to. This is why I saved this for when we get to the launch site, because they can't catch a booster without the chopsticks being fully functional, and they're currently not.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to talk about after this. But I do want to address the Starship launch profile before we go back to the flyover images. So this one you guys can see is the Starship profile, and so you can't really see the non-powered part because it's so small. But this is basically the all the powered flight for Starship. So
Wow. Look,
basically the or the main engine cutoff for Starship is right before they get over Cuba, right? And the green line underneath is actually, I guess, the would be a shadow of the
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 flight path.
trajectory, which like shows you where it would be at on the ground if it were to hit the ground at that point, I guess. So you
So,
can kind of
so that means that if they cut off, they could fly straight over Florida in that case because they would not need orbital. They would not need powered flight before they hit Florida. So if they hit that point, there would be no danger, and they would continue on even if something catastrophic happened at that point.
yeah, and this is the other interesting thing about this is, I mean, you could see that it doesn't cross over land until it gets right here. So this is, and I don't think that's actually even land. I think that's an underground island. Um, this may be the only actual land right here that it passes over, and I don't even
Wow.
think there's land there. So all this entire way, even all the way past, um, second stage cutoff, it's not touching land. Um,
Wow. Oh God, I'm so excited I know we're going to have to watch that part on TV, but man, I am thrilled to see this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things. It feels like, there's been so many moments when it's like we're going to launch in a month, and now it feels like it's actually getting close for real.
yeah, and this right here, we have our landing profile. So this is uh, off of uh, Kauai. So basically, you could see the path that it takes when it comes back in and lands in the ocean over there. So the best view in the house is probably going to be, what is this, Princeville? Would be a pretty awesome place to be. Um, that's assuming that you'd be able to see this far out. We don't have the ground shadow for this one, so we can't really, and we also don't know like any size of scale or anything like this. So this could be, you know, like 500,000 miles away. So
what's your over under on this actually getting back to this point and not breaking up at re-entry?
I think it'll survive. I hope. So.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I'm not really that worried though about the Starship.
Yeah, no, that's lanyap. That's a little something extra there to say, hey, we nailed the ship reentry. It'd be nice, but if they even got to the point of trying reentry, that's an amazing series of accomplishments. Just like watching SN8 launch for the first time. Every moment it cleared that launch pad was a success.
Yeah, and all they have to do is get those Starlinks deployed, and that's pretty much all they need to do. And on that note, I do want to mention really quick, if you guys have seen the Everyday Astronaut video, I'm not going to play it right now, but I will just show a brief screenshot right here. This right here in the background is Starlink V2.
Wow. Does that say no photography right there?
Yeah. I really wish I could ask Tim Dodd if he knew that's what it was when he walked by it, but yeah, you can see they got the red velvet ropes around it. It draws a ton of attention to it, but just about the exact size we were expecting. 7 meters long.
That thing's honking big.
Yeah, so you can see that it's about, I don't know, I want to say 6 to 8 inches thick.
It looks like more like a foot.
Yeah, just about, maybe. I mean, nah, no way. I'm gonna
10 inches.
This is a 2-inch table. Then I'm gonna put this at. This is probably an 1.5-inch table, so I'm gonna put this at like 6 or 8 inches. I don't know.
Okay,
You're wrong, but yeah, man, this is pretty awesome. Actually, being able. I mean, we don't get a lot of detail out of this, but yeah, I mean, it's right there. Tim probably has the best. If he actually looked at it, then he knows what it looks like better than pretty much any of us. So, yeah, it's really cool that they actually had this in here, and this was a solid month or two before we actually saw them test out the Pez dispenser. So, in my opinion, I don't think they would have tested that Pez dispenser without putting this Starlink in there. So, I believe there is one Starlink inside of Ship 24 right now.
agreed. Hey, when
Yeah.
you go back, could you pull up an overview picture of the entire launch site? I think it might have been the very first picture you. I just wanted to point out just how great.
This one?
No, sorry, I meant from RGB's photo roll. My bad.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I just wanted to point out that as this comes in for reentry, can you go to the left, or do you have one from the other side? Okay, yeah, right there, all the way to the left. There's the launch site. There's the beach. It's just a hand throw away, and that targeted reentry, if they can't relight, that booster's going to come down. Maybe just off the coast right there, maybe on the coast, depending on how they want to do salvage. But look how, that's their moment of decision. If they're not able to get it relit, if they're not able to control it, they'll have to either FTS it or let it crash land. But if they do relight it, then they'll be able to make it that last 100 yards, and instead of landing on the beach, properly land at the launch site.
Yeah,
RTLS.
I'm trying to get as far out as I can. I would say probably about twice the height of where I am right now is where it would make the decision whether or not it's going to land.
Yeah.
And then it can either just drop straight down right here, or it can move over just a little bit. Grid fins and the engines combined are enough to get it to. Actually, I think it's engines at that final stage. Should be enough to just. Actually, matter of fact, I think it'll probably be going towards here first. And then
exactly.
To land, not the other way around. I think right now with Falcon 9s, oh, sorry, it is the same. They point towards water, and then you can actually see the moment that they make the decision to land.
Yeah, they always hook it over really fast right at the last minute when they're doing the suicide burn.
The whole thing is just amazing. Also, great point on the Falcon 9s. They have a crap ton of experience and exposure with landing boosters. The booster, in so many ways, might be the easier problem to solve. The ship landing was way more complicated. I mean, there's some complexity here that they haven't experienced with the Falcon 9, like with the chines, with the glide path, etc. But they have a lot more experience on that. So who knows? Maybe they're feeling confident. They really do have a lot of experience landing boosters.
Yeah.
And it's all just physics.
Nate, were you going to add something?
Well, one of the things about the Falcon 9 too is it has so much thrust it can't hover, so they have to suicide burn it to do that landing. Whereas, with the booster, they're going to be able to super hover booster. They're going to be able to bring it in and hover it in because of being able to throttle and and the weight of the booster and whatnot. And so I think this in time will be easier than landing a Falcon 9 on a barge, personally.
I really like having Nate on the stream. It makes me want to start talking in his accent. So I'm gonna apologize if I end up slipping up and doing that. But yeah, those are some really good points, Nate. One thing that they're gonna need to do in order, if they even want to consider this, and this is the reason why we're talking about this, is because if you guys watched my last CSI Starbase episode, I talked about the fact that the chopsticks are not ready. They're not ready to catch a booster. They are able to lift one, clearly, but they're not ready to catch one. So they're still installing the pistons on the landing rail that will lift them up into the air and allow them to basically function as a cushion when the booster lands on top of it. And as we mentioned last week, at least half of those pistons are currently sitting right here. So these were also here last week, and they clearly haven't moved. I think this may be another one in the box right here. Not sure, but I think so. So we may have all of them on site, but we've also seen a ton of work on the actual chopsticks this week. So let me go ahead and grab us a ground image to show this. They've been working on the chopsticks a lot this week, and one of the things that I've noticed, actually, I mean, it's really hard to actually tell. I was actually expecting some of the pistons to be installed already, but what we have been seeing is tons of sparks flying as they're up here working, and they've had a bunch of man baskets up here. And this is literally the only change I've seen so far. They're grinding away the paint near this area right here where the expected hinge is. So they've grinded it away on both sides, and they haven't done it on all of them. Let me see. To scroll through these images to get a good shot of it. Ooh, here we go, a front view. So you can see on the left landing rail the same thing. They've started to shave that off. They've done it on both sides. They've done it to partial on this one, and they've started on this one as well too. But yeah, that's where we're kind of expecting those pistons to get mounted at, and it doesn't appear to be a fast process at all. So
It's a lot of work.
yeah, if they want to try and catch it on the first attempt, this is definitely going to be a limiting factor. Whether or not they get this done in time. So yeah, it'll be exciting. Watching the urgency that they try to get this system up and running over the next 2 to 3 weeks will tell us a lot about whether or not they're actually going to attempt to do this. So I
Big
would
time.
definitely be on the lookout for more progress in this area.
So Zach, while you're on that picture, have kind of tangent, but the catch arms at the Cape seem to be a lot shorter, but they are open-ended, so it looks like they could add on more. What's your take on that? Do you think they're going to have some shorter T-Rex arms on that one, or?
Yeah, I would show them right now. I don't have them ready to go. I also haven't asked Greg Scott yet if we can show them on the show, but you probably I may be able to show them.
Yeah, shout out to Greg Scott. He's working with Marcus and Lab, and he's He's the RGV of the Cape until we can get Mauricio down there.
Yeah, I talk to him relatively frequently. I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. So we'll show this really quick. So this is okay. Swapping over. Some shots. So if you guys haven't followed Greg Scott on Twitter yet, make sure you do, because he posts tons of great images from down there in the Cape. And I'm actually going to zoom in right here, so you can see the chopsticks under construction right now, and they appear to be shorter. However, number one, there's still more long pipes left. So these ones right here are the hinges that go on the end. But I'm pretty positive that more sections for this are going to arrive, and they'll end up lengthening them, because I mean, eh, if SpaceX really truly decided to shorten the chopsticks this much, um, number one, that'd be a massive amount of confidence. But
Yeah,
number
it would.
two, especially since they haven't ever caught one yet, like they haven't even launched one yet, let alone tried to catch something. So if they really were to like shorten them this early on, I would just be absolutely amazed. But sorry, I just noticed the claws for the claws for the carriage are on the ground right here as well too. So yeah, the full carriage is half assembled, but all on site. Most of the chopsticks are on site. The SQ, or the GSE arm is half assembled, or not half assembled, probably about a quarter of the way assembled. Yeah, they're really making tons of moves out here, but I don't think that this is I don't think this is their full length. Hopefully not. Hopefully they're not shortening them down. But yeah, going back over to
Thank you, Zach.
our ground images. What was that?
I said thank you.
Yeah, of course. Actually, let me see. I'm actually going to go back to the aerials.
Hey Zach, if we may, we have a lot of donations to cover here.
Oh,
Yeah, let's go ahead and
please jump in, Mauricio.
Yes, I have the first one here from Michael Stanlund, 100 Swedish krona, and thank you for that. Just because I got a month membership from Jim Cavett. Thank you for that. Another donation here from KC, $9.99 US, cap for the camera fund. Thank you, KC. Ironhead, $19.99 for camera or for beer. Your choice. Keep up the great work. Thank you for that, Ironhead. And Meerkat just became a new flight supporter. Thank you for that. James Sheed sent $100 US. Oh wow, camera fund. Thank you for that, James. And it looks like Joseph De Furias sent $100 as well. He matched James. Thank you for that as well. And then we got a donation from Stumpy, $200. Bring it on. Let's keep the RGV getting these awesome photos. Love your pics, RGV. I appreciate these big donations, all the donations in general. Then it was followed shortly after by Michelle Nichols. She sent $200. She says, "No more waiting for the camera. Let's get it now." I'm at you, Stumpy. Come on, I know there's others who would, and I think the message got cut off there, but I think she said she's trying to get other people to get in there. And the last one here is from Rocket Profit for $25 US, and he says for 500 likes. And I can't say this enough. This is actually when I saw these rolling in, I was kind of amazed. We're getting extremely close to getting that camera. And the reason I say I'm not sure if we're there yet or not is because I haven't tallied up the totals. But once I do, I will surely get to y'all and make an announcement on that. And thank you everybody for your generous donations. Really appreciate it, and can't wait to get that camera. I think we're just eyeballing it. Just I want to say between I don't know. I think we're at the 90% mark at this point. We're almost extremely there. But again, I don't want to say if we're actually there or not. Pretty excited to get these totals. I know YouTube takes a big chunk, so I don't know how to factor that in, the whatever YouTube takes. So definitely going to get there. And the YouTube ad revenue, I think, only sends it out once a month. So I'm waiting for that to kick in the AdSense to see how much that total actually is. But I will get to that. And thank you very much, everybody, for this. Back to you, Zach.
Cool. Yeah, you guys are absolutely amazing. It's I'm really excited, and I think we're getting really close, as Mauricio said. And uh, I don't know if there's anybody out there who's gonna be happier than I am. I'll just say that. I spend way too much time looking at these images, and that's why it's really easy to notice a lot of the changes that we see sometimes. Just to spend so much time staring at them. But with that being said, I think we should get into the thumbnail for today's episode, which is this right here. As you guys can see, SpaceX has begun clearing new land um, around the perimeter of the launch site. So all of this used to be basically covered in um, like plant material. So let me actually go and probably pull up an image even just from last week so we can compare these two really quick. Let's
Yeah,
see.
and I would also love to see. I know they're very old plans, but there were some plans as well from the FAA. Gosh, that might have been 2017. They made those plans for how they were going to build this out.
Yeah, so we have, there's a few options on what's going on here. And let me go ahead and switch over to the older view. Interesting. Um,
And how old is this view?
Last week.
Oh wow.
So, or 2 weeks ago, sorry. So it looks like, and I don't know when this started, but about 2 weeks ago, at least they started pushing this fence out. Um, I know that the fence was along here this entire time, but I don't know how recent this part of the fence is. So it looks like they started framing this out um, at least 2 weeks ago. And so now when we go back to today's image, um, you can see that all of that has been cleared out. So, oh wow, my computer just tried to restart itself. Got lucky there, guys. Um, so you can see that all that area has been cleared out. And initially when I first saw this, I only saw this portion of it. Um, Oops, I guess I'm on the wrong image. One second. Um, there we go. So when I first saw this, um, I initially it was only this side right here. So I thought that this may just be them clearing it out for to prevent fires. So when they do their first static fire, or not even the static fire, just the wet dress rehearsal, there's going to be a pretty massive flame that comes out of the bottom of this. So it's probably a good idea to push the um, you know basically all the plant material out of the way, so you don't have to worry about any fires. But once you get over to this area, that starts to not really make any sense. Um, and one thing that I've been thinking is that, well, number one, we have this culvert right here, which is really weird. This is much different than what I was expecting. Actually, let me swap back over to this. There's multiple topics we're addressing here right now, so bear with me. You can see from this angle that there is a little, I don't know if you want to call it almost like a trough here. So it looks to me that there,
Conduit or
yeah,
drainage?
yeah, and this is going the wrong way from what I was expecting. I would have hoped that this would be on the opposite side, because of the fact that we have um, this new pipe down here, which I was assuming there would be like a small reservoir here where they would recycle the water after testing events. But right now, it kind of looks to me that all of the water that lands on this pad will come down um, into here, which is, like I said, weird because there's, at least yet, there's no pumps in here to pull the water out. It's just a weird location for that to be, in my opinion. But I am expecting that they will actually build this up. I don't know if it's truly just removing all of that plant material, or if they're actually truly expecting to expand out here. And there's lots of reasons to do that. I mean, number one, uh,
Fire.
well, yeah, fire, but I mean, the front side of this building is really hard to access. I mean, they basically have to. There's such a small sidewalk to get into the front of this building. It would be nice if there was a full, um, uh, I guess,
Service road.
yeah, out in front.
Yeah, and there were plans right there for a service road.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing that this eliminates right here is the possibility of starships or boosters ever being lifted from this side of the pad. Um, so initially I think there was supposed to be a driveway that went all the way around the outside of
Yep, yep.
the pad, but I would have expected the reason you want to do that so you can also pull up over here if you need to if you want to lift the ship, because if you have a booster and a ship on the staging pads, then it's more difficult to maneuver in here to bring a booster in to be lifted. So it would be nice to be able to do that from the other side, but that's clearly not going to happen. Um,
Yeah. I mean, they also had plans for an entire natural gas processing facility and another storage commodity section.
here's the question though: where is that second launch tower supposed to be in relation to the first? Like that's what we need a comparison on, um,
You
to
see
see.
that you see that second point over there?
Oh,
Uh
hold on, I got the
like
original
just
plan just now.
okay.
One second. Um,
Take your time.
okay, where?
Right there to the left. Yep, right there. That is about where the second launch tower was. It's fairly close to the first.
So let's. I have the. Thanks to Nate who just posted this. Oops. Here we go.
Perfect. And RGV and I have also made a realistic overlay. Yep, see right there?
Yeah, I would like to see that overlay so we could see where they're at right now. Because this is kind of tough to determine from this angle.
Yeah,
Um,
that overlay would help a lot.
yeah, we may need that in order to fully figure out how close they are to this. Oh, I see it now. I see it. Okay. So this green area right here,
Oh, that is it, isn't it? So they're not doing the launch tower just yet.
it's just outside of that one. So let's see. And this also doesn't cover
That's a
doesn't
retention pond right
yeah,
there.
it doesn't cover the retention pond area, but it does expand them out over on this side. Where does that end? Oh wow. It goes all the way to the beach. That's interesting. So let me see what the green is on here. The green is protected archaeological resource boundary. No, that's not.
That's a
Um,
dashed green.
where is the regular green? I don't see what the regular green is. But yeah, I'm guessing that's just existing property line then in that case. But yeah, that is the exact marks um, that they just bulldozed. So
The
this means
green is the boundary for the existing high marsh habitat. So they're going, I guess, all the way up to that boundary right now.
so to get past that, they need to submit plans to the Army Corps of Engineers, which initially we thought they were in the process of until that announcement came out saying that um, you know they hadn't done what they needed to do in order to uh, get that approval or whatever. So after the first orbital flight, I wouldn't be surprised if they reinitiate that plan. Um, and again, that's when I would start looking for another launch tower to or like proof of another launch tower in the works out here. But we may be a long ways off that, but it also could not be that far. Um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they actually do with this ground if they just leave it bulldozed like that. I might as well switch back. Um, if they just leave it like this, I mean, we all know that SpaceX loves concrete, and now we have more dirt. So I'm expecting this to get covered up soon. But I think they would have to build it up a little bit first. So we'll see what happens. I mean, if not, you know, you're just gonna end up with more plants there in a few months anyways. So um, yeah, there's what else do we want to cover out here? We mentioned at the beginning of the show, for those of you who missed it, that there appears to, I'm on the wrong images right here. So there appears to be, uh, oh wow, this is really cool. Sorry, I didn't switch. There we go. So Mauricio actually did this flyover um, during a testing event, so you can see that the I actually can't tell where this one's coming from. Okay, it's coming out of this heat exchanger right here. So I think a lot of times it usually comes out of the top, but I guess there is another vent on the side, which we've literally never seen venting from there before. Um, and I honestly can't believe it may be from this right here, this manifold. This could be like a prime up line, um, where they would need to vent it while they're trying to prime up the actual system. So I think that may be what we were seeing is them in the middle of prime up right here. And you can also see way over here that there is snow in Texas. This is pretty crazy. We're gonna have to get another view of this. This will probably do it.
Yep. And y'all pardon me while I'm still searching for that overlay.
So as you guys can see here, there's a lot of frost slash snow on the ground. Obviously, this is because of you know cryogenic. I'm pretty sure what's happening here, and you can see where it's actually coming from. I actually don't know how this works because we weren't able to find the initial pipe that was in the ground over here, but we're assuming that there's similar to the ground vent that you see at the suborbital launch site. Um, there's another one right here, or they call the grass vent. Obviously, there's no grass over here, but basically, what's happening is to some degree, liquid nitrogen is probably actually pouring out of here, and it's so cold that it is either condensing the water straight out of the air and it's falling on the ground basically as snow, or because the water table is so high, it could actually be freezing the ground as well too. Um, so either one of those are a possibility, but it's really crazy that it's still, and this is, I mean, it's like 90 degrees out there every day. So it's crazy that all of this is still frosted so far away from where the actual ground vent is coming from. But this is really cool being able to actually see this from the air. Um, and while we're here, we also have, okay, I would say a little over half of the, probably, sorry, three quarters of the berm covered with concrete, and they have also done it on the top as well too, which is awesome. So not really sure what they're going to be doing in this area. I'm still expecting them to attempt to divert the flames to either side of this somehow. That's the only reason I can explain that can come up with of why they haven't done that middle area yet. Um, but I think if it's something that's necessary for the first orbital flight, we will definitely see that happening here soon. Now that these parts are finished up.
Golden Boy, on the face of those concrete slopes, there's pipes coming out. What's the purpose of those pipes?
Yeah,
Do
so
we
you can
know?
actually we can see them from the air right here, and I could pull up a ground shot of them as well. But yeah, these pipes are basically they appear to be going into the berm. So if I had to guess, and I'm not sure why this is necessary, considering that they're going to cover the top of it with concrete. It basically would be to allow water to come from out of here.
Seepage.
Yeah, water seepage, and I just don't know why that's necessary if they end up covering the whole thing. Truthfully, maybe we have some experts in the audience who may know a little bit better than I do about what a good reason for that is. And oh, nice, we just got that overlay. Um, so I guess I'll show that really quick. Sorry, to switch subjects again, guys. Okay. Yeah, so this you could see where the existing boundary is now. And this is an older overlay, obviously, but this is still where that boundary is. So, man, that second orbital launch tower will be way out there.
Oh yeah. But
And
I
I
do
hope
love
this is happening.
the commodity storage duplicated, and they had the processing plant just north of that.
Yeah.
Oh, and
And
like 3 landing pads.
and your commodity storage is definitely not going to be duplicated if they go this route. And that's because they, uh, in my opinion, made some pretty colossal mistakes when it comes to that tank farm. And I guess now is uh, good as time of any to address the things that we were talking about on previous episodes, which it appears that at least some of them are now finished. Um, so, as we mentioned on previous episodes, the two vertical methane storage tanks have now been converted to water tanks. So you can see that the water line that used to run uh, to the bottom of the water tank has now been redirected towards the bottom of these two tanks, and um, the fill line. And this isn't really even a fill line; it's almost like a recirculation. So it comes from in this bunker to push water back out. So this would be the line that refills the tanks. There should be a separate line for offloading into the tanks, but I don't think that exists yet because right here you can see that they have this pump right here, and that is connected to, I believe, the bottom of this tank right here. You can see the hose going to that. So they are filling these tanks using this compressor right here, this pump. So I don't think they're fully done yet, but they are functional enough for them to actually be able to put water in it by other means, other than what it. Well, I guess you can't really say what it was designed to do because that was never designed to have water in these. But yeah, this tank is now decommissioned as far as we know. Um, but they got this done pretty quickly. This is something that needed to happen before the first orbital launch. And I think we should also check in on this view from the ground because uh, they they did do some. They have made some changes to the water tank. One second. Sorry about that, guys.
Uh,
I'm sitting here searching in the background.
Not a problem. And while you're searching there, sorry, I was phased out looking. I finally found the other overlay. But you said those 2 methane tanks, the vertical ones, are getting transferred to water?
Yeah, these are now water.
What?
Yeah, I saw you make your diagram, but I didn't want to let you know that because this is coming in my next episode, explaining not only that this is happening, but why it's happening. So it's a very, very, very long explanation about why this happened. So be on the lookout for that, guys. I think I should have that episode out uh, by Monday or two, probably Tuesday, most likely. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to do a deep dive explanation about why this happened, because it's a pretty interesting story. So yeah, looking at this from the round angle, you can see that they've added these little. I think there's 6 of them on here, but they haven't. These don't do anything. You know what I mean? Like this, I have no idea what's going on here. Really hoping that we see some more progress down here, or like whatever is going to happen. It is possible that these could just be mounts for like a camera or something. Um, um, One second. Sorry about that. So, um, trying to make sure we don't checking the time and stuff too. We have about 15 minutes left. So I wanna add some more ground images in here. Unless we oh wait, hold on. We can't just ignore the suborbital farm altogether. That wouldn't be right. So let's swap over to the suborbital farm really quick. See what we got going on over here. Uh, so number one, we got very large dirt piles right here. and also a bunch of gravel. And you can see where they're going with that. Um, oh, okay, I guess I'd have to swap views. But they're taking it over to that area by the launch mount. So I'm guessing this is probably some of the fill material that they're using in the new area that they've. Oh, matter of fact, they probably didn't even bulldoze all of that dirt. They probably just threw this on top of it. So that would make way more sense. So yeah, this is probably being added over by the launch mount um, in the new area, and then I'm guessing this will probably go on top of that, so they can put concrete down at some point. But we will have to wait and see on that one. I don't think there's too much else happening over here other than we got ship 24 looking super nice on the pad.
Right.
Yeah, let's man, and we'll look at this from a ground in the ground in a few minutes. Um, but what's interesting about this is they're not getting rid of all of the plants on this side, so I guess they're not worried about any fires over here. So it's interesting that they wouldn't do it on this side, but they are on the others. So I really think it's for another purpose over there. Um, but yeah, I think that's about all we have. There are some thermal covers on this side for hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm guessing these are for the booster then. Mm, they really could be
Oh,
for either. I think they're used on both.
Uh, yeah, I wanted to call way back. We had originally asked a question probably 2 hours ago about the. You said on the orbital launch mount they were going to add more covers. Uh, uh, did you ever show where those were going to go?
Well, we haven't really seen full signs of that yet. It's more like a hopeful thing. Um, there's, I mean, they obviously need them, and there's a few places where we can tell where they should be adding them. But we haven't really seen signs of that yet.
Yeah, they definitely. It feels like they should cover up all that sensitive equipment under the awning.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Um, and I'm going to get to some ground images of the launch site as well too, really quick. In the meantime, since we're nearing the end of the show, I want to make sure that we touch on any remaining questions that you guys may have that we maybe didn't get to. So, with that being said, Mauricio, do we have any other questions that we skipped over?
Well, at the launch site, right? Relating to launch site, there was a couple that came through a while back from Andrew Mosev. Is he mentioned? Do they have red lights on high structures like the launch tower and high base? The lights for the planes to see? I have never noticed those.
Um, yeah, both buildings have lights on the top of them. They blink red and green. They're basically obviously for identification, like so you can see them, but also they're status lights for whether or not the building is open.
Yeah, and then we have another question here from Sahas, and the question is, which ship do you think will carry the first humans? S40, S80, or something even further down the line? I think it's hard to say, right, at this point.
Yeah, that's that's a tough one to guess. It'd be way off no matter what.
We have another question here by Ayers Nikau. The question is, will SpaceX be able to do the ship static fire and booster static fire in one closure? And I think the answer is yes, right, for that.
Yeah, they definitely could. It's an option. It's not a certainty, but yeah, they could do that.
And then last but not least, I got a PayPal donation for $200 from Aaron Butterfield. It says for the camera fund. And, at this point, I'm just starting to think that we're pretty much there. I can't really say exactly 100% for a fact that we got the camera fund ready, sealed, dealed. But it looks like everything's already gone through as far as the AdSense revenue hitting coming towards us, or to see what the actual percentages that they took away from YouTube. That's hard to say. I haven't actually looked into all that to see actually how much we're going to be getting. But either way, um, it looks like we're 95 to 100% there. So I thank everybody that donated. If you still want to donate, that's up to you. We definitely appreciate the support. And thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody that donated. We got some generous donations today from several individuals today. James of Skeed, Joseph De Furia, Stumpy with the $200 donation, Michelle Nichols. She sent several donations during the stream. I appreciate you. Appreciate everybody that did, and all the other donations as well. Thank you very much.
Wow, you guys are great. I can't believe we're finally there.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. Can't happen soon enough.
Say, Golden Boy, you're gonna be able to just do some deeper and deeper diving now.
Hey man, it's much welcome, that's for sure. The more detail, the better, and even on the from the ground level, we'll be able to see things a lot better. So I'm really excited for that. Um, I did want to. There's a few things I wanted to cover on the ground. Trying to see if we make sure that we haven't touched them already. Um, Mauricio did ask me about things I thought needed to be done before the first orbital flight, and I kind of said this last week. One of the things I'm expecting is this pipe to get buried very soon, either removed altogether or just buried. Because if not, um, when that engine exhaust runs up this ramp, it's going to take that pipe with it. So um, I don't know. Maybe they're setting up right now to that you're not going to sit it on top of that wood. Never mind. Um, we'll see soon. Hopefully they start burying that. That'll be another sign that they're getting close to that first static fire. And we kind of touched on this a little bit. Not a whole lot here. Am I even going further? Sorry about that, guys. Might as well check in with the bottom of the launch mount and see if there's anything new here.
Still there.
It's still there. Yeah, I was kind of hoping that they was something additional with the shielding down here, but it looks like that's fully um as far as what
They
they've added is completed.
they have a 351 Cleveland down at the bottom of the tower there. No,
You know what? I think they recently repainted this.
it was looking a little janky, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm almost sad that they did because I really want them to add more on there. Um,
Yeah, once they start painting, that's the end of the road. By
yeah,
the way, I'm still surprised they haven't added more of a roof on the top of that. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're done.
up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that one. It is very odd that there's only this small amount of roof up here. I guess it's just covering these two, but they don't care about the two in the back. I'm sure we'll see more at some point, but uh, nothing so far. Um, let's see. One thing I'm also still waiting on is for them to finally use this 5-ton crane that they attached onto the. Wait, is this a 1-ton crane or 5? But they attached this crane onto the side of the launch mount, but we've never really seen them use it for anything yet. So that'll be interesting if they ever actually do that. Um, for a small second, I thought that it could be possible that they were using it to lift up the Raptor new Raptor workstation, but it's too far away from all of the lift points, so that's definitely not going to happen. Um, but yeah, sorry, I'm going through these guys trying to make sure that I cover everything. Oh wow! So look at this. This is the brick wall that is in front of the um, horizontal methane tank, so you guys can see that it's
What?
now
Did they
completely
stucco
white.
that?
I don't know what they did to it.
Dude, it
Yeah, they
looks
started that
great.
a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember they started a few weeks ago. I just never I stopped kind of paying attention to this area for a while. But yeah, that looks good. I wouldn't be surprised again if they don't put a SpaceX logo somewhere up here, like on this one.
Yeah, when they started, I didn't expect it to be smooth like that, though. That's
Yeah,
nice.
no, they did good. I like the little expansion joints they have in it too.
Yeah, this kind of hides the sad story that rests behind it, and that is the horizontal methane tanks, which should have never happened. Oh,
I
looks like
can't wait to see that episode from you. I know it's one of your passion projects.
I really like Tank Farm. I also like to talk crap about the Tank Farm. I feel like Elon has a lot that he wants to say about it, but he doesn't. So I'm like, I got you, dude. I'll take care of this.
Good man.
uh, yeah, just keeping it moving. I'm trying to see if there's anything new that we haven't talked about over here. But there's not a whole lot. We could take
Yeah,
another
just a
look.
lot commission there.
Yeah.
Just real quick here, I just wanted to ask for 15 likes. That's actually 14 likes, so that I can drop that wallpaper download link, real quick here in the chat. So the faster we get there, the faster I drop it.
Yeah.
By the
we're
way,
up
we
to-
had 630 viewers at one point. What are we up to
650.
now? Yep.
Yeah.
So
which is,
wow, way to go, y'all.
a record for us so far. So thank you guys for being here and staying for the whole show. We know it's quite a long episode every single time, so we definitely appreciate you guys being here on Saturdays with us. Man, I wish we hold on. Do we have a full image of this?
Oh wow.
Huh. I don't like this area in here.
Yeah, you could use a little bit of look. That just shows you how much they've advanced from 24 to 26 or 25. Then again, 24 did kind of have a little concussive pressure event.
You're right.
Yep, it sure did.
It's been through some stuff. It's beaten up, but it's a survivor.
Yeah. You think about 24 and Booster 7.
Yeah, man. Both of them had pretty bad injuries, or not. They weren't that bad, but
Oh yeah, I forgot about 7. Oh, that was pretty bad, man. But yeah, still shout out to the OG 420. You know what could have been.
I agree with that. Looks like they got some new control panels up here, up above. But sorry guys, I haven't had a chance to
Hey,
go through
Mauricio dropped his wallpaper.
Oh, did we hit 600 likes?
Yeah, 610 now.
Hey, we really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for getting us to 600 likes. You guys are absolutely amazing every single week. So it makes it really awesome for us to be here when we have an audience like you guys.
Oh wow, that wallpaper image of the just the straight on shot of ship 24. Yeah, I think you have the thumbnail for that down to the bottom left. Do you want to take a look at that one real quick?
Wait, where is it?
To the left, to the left, to the left.
Oh,
yeah,
this one.
right there. Yeah.
Yep, that one.
There's a
Man,
question. Yeah, go ahead, GPJ.
I was just admiring your handiwork, man. The livery, the ship itself. God, how great is this?
There was a question. Thanks, I appreciate that. There was a question on ship 24. It says, how many Raptors are currently mounted on S24? I could only see the inner bells when
6.
left at pad B. Yes, three RVACs, right? And then
3 RVACs and 3 sea level Raptors. Elon did release a picture of all that, and it's yeah. So it is all 6. There is an eventual plan to go to 9.
We need to get these chains off. They're rusting and bleeding on my bleeding on the
They're bleeding and the wind's blowing them back and forth. You can also see where they cleaned up to put the decals on.
Yeah.
Yeah. They need to put this thing through the car wash.
Yeah, this is absolutely amazing. I'm getting more excited every single day for this first orbital flight.
Yeah, we're getting so close.
Yeah, I think once we get those static fires in, we got a few tiles that need to be replaced, and then after that, we'll be almost there. And I guess we have one image that Grandpa Joe wants to show you guys. He has a render of, or an edited video, a picture of what he would expect the
9-engine Starship.
9-engine Starship to look like. Oops, hold on, let me swap over properly there. Okay, and it,
There you go. Poorly photoshopped by yours truly.
man, that's gonna be crazy.
Oh my God. Can you imagine the thrust out of that? Woo. Now, and look, they're going to have to light all 9 because 1, it's balanced, but 2, the center 3 are good for steering. Or at least they're gonna have to do the outer 6 in one of the center rafters.
Yeah,
What a time to be alive, guys.
I agree. Well, with that, I think we are at the end of our episode for this week. So I want to thank everybody again for joining us for episode number 29. It's kind of crazy that we're 29 episodes in already. It feels like we kind of just started still some days. But yeah, my name is Zach, if you guys didn't know. And I want to thank you guys for being here, and also give a special thanks to Nate for hopping on for us as a guest. And another shout out to Indian Star, who wasn't able to be here with us today. But yeah, I will let Grandpa Joe take it away from here.
Yep, definitely missed. And thank you, Nate, for coming out. And thank you,
Yeah,
Mauricio,
thank you.
for taking all these pictures.
Yeah, thank y'all for letting me join y'all today. I really enjoyed it, and anytime.
Absolutely. Welcome back anytime, sir. And with that, it's 3 o'clock. Main engine cutoff.
Oh, wait,
Stage
hold up,
separate.
hold up.
Abort. FTS.
FTS abort. Mauricio, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Well, just mainly, I can't express how much gratitude I have towards everybody that donated towards the new camera, the well-needed camera that been giving us a lot of issues. It seems like we're pretty much there. I'm excited to get the funds for YouTube AdSense and go out there with the camera. I'll definitely be posting a Twitter post, or we'll showcase it here on the stream when I buy that camera. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today, and we'll see you back here next week on Starbase Weekly, episode 30. Grandpa Joe, you can take it away.
All right, communication return. We got a main engine cutoff. Stage separation confirmed. Love you. Bye.